I've been working with a nurse dietitian for the last 6 months, and it's been life-changing. I've lost weight, healed my relationship with food, and have way more energy. Working with a dietitian online to create a personalized nutrition plan was so easy thanks to Nourish. The best part? I pay $0 out of pocket because Nourish accepts hundreds of insurance plans. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Then fly with Condor Airlines. With nonstop flights to Frankfurt, Germany, there are great connection options to several cities. Whether it's the romantic streets of Paris or the stunning beaches of Barcelona, Condor will start your vacation by offering comfortable and spacious cabins. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, whether it's a trip or a well-deserved vacation, there's something that will make your experience memorable. For example, if you were on a Delta flight from Minneapolis to Toronto yesterday, the thing you'll probably remember is how your flight burst into flames and landed upside down. That was the case yesterday at Pearson Airport in Toronto. Now, in spite of the dramatics, everyone survived. But at least the flight took off. A flight out of New Haven, Connecticut, it was delayed after a passenger just tried to engage other passengers in small talk. And just a suggestion, when making small talk with strangers on a plane, maybe don't talk about bombs being in your bag or plane crashes that have happened recently, because it turns out they'll remove you from the flight. Some other suggestions. If a volcano is actively spewing lava and ash, don't run towards it. But tourists in Italy, they're not heeding our advice. So rescue crews, they've been busy at Mount Etna rescuing people who thought it'd be a good idea to climb the mountain as it is erupting. You can do the math on that. But the award for singular genius, that goes to a shot of the day honoree from last week. Canadian woman visiting the Caribbean, splashing around in the ocean when she spots a bull shark. Now, instead of getting out of the water, she realized, hey, man, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get a selfie with it. So she reached out to the shark to pull it into the photo, and then it bit both of her hands off. Apparently, the shark was a little camera shy. That said, quite the memory. She's absolutely going to remember that every time she looks at her little nubs. But that's what we're talking about today. You've been somewhere, whether you wanted to go or not. Could have been Disney World, it could have been a work trip, but something happened somewhere at some point that, good or bad, you're always going to remember. And that's what our question is today. Today, we want to know, what is the one story you'll always remember about your travels?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like KISW on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the men's room at KISW.com.
Today's question, by the way, brought to you by our friends at Advanced Hair Restoration.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. You know what's sneaky? A bunch of big corporations buying up local companies you know and love, gutting them, and keeping the name. But you know who's not a sellout? Pinky's Plumbing. That's right. Pinky's Plumbing's values start with their work ethic, honesty, how they treat their employees, and how they care for their customers. Bigger isn't always better, and that's a fact. You should know you're working with a locally owned company that truly values where they live and work. Pinky's Plumbing. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. ExpressPros.com.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, Patrols, away we go. Welcome to Season 20, Episode number 4263. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat, the exciting return to Sit and Spin. If you listen to Friday's program, you know that our own veggie dog turned 50 years old yesterday and celebrated with a tray of baked vegetables. But either way, 50 years old, that is a big deal. You start getting stuff in the mail from AARP. Kind of makes you realize how much time has gone by, how old you are. So today, we have 10 rock albums that turned 50 years old this year. All right. 50 years. A lot of bands you know, a lot of bands you love. So here's what we're going to do. Mike, you have the list of the 10 songs. We are going to play those songs. Steve, you and I, our goal is to see if we can guess the correct album of said artist.
All right.
Because we grew up with a lot of this stuff, even though it was a little bit before our time. Still played on the radio. But we have to guess the album. Ted, since you weren't around, all right, it's your job just to see if you can identify the artist.
The artist.
The artist. So,
what are the chances I'll know him?
I
Pretty
think
good. Probably heard of
Yeah.
them. I would say you get at least 50%.
And if you get the artist right, then we'll try to guess the name of the album.
Yeah.
That came out. But 50 years old, we go back. And 50 years ago, in 1975, if you look at the music charts and what was being played on the radio, it was a hodgepodge of everything. You know, the number one album in the country that year was Love Will Keep Us Together from Captain and Tennille. You had everyone from Glenn Campbell to Frankie Valli, Earth, Wind, and Fire, John Denver, Carl Douglas with Kung Fu Fighting.
So that's the guy that does Kung Fu Fighting.
Exactly.
Did you know that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Boogie on Reggae Woman from Stevie Wonder, Ted. Also,
I don't know that I would have known that was Stevie Wonder.
Fight the Power from the Isley Brothers. But there is a hodgepodge on
Isley Brothers. Yeah.
Isley Brothers. There's a whole bunch of different...
Not Public Enemy.
Not Public Enemy, no.
A whole bunch of different genres represented 50 years ago that were popular back in the day. But today, we're going to go straight rock with 10 rock albums that turned 50 years old coming up for you at 4:30. And our question today, we're going to talk about travel a little bit. And the one story you always remember about your travels. Obviously, when you travel, there are things that you hope will happen. There are things that you would never expect would happen. And we'll talk about both of those today. Now, if you were checking out the media yesterday, you saw the just absolutely mind-blowing footage of the Delta aircraft that crashed at Toronto International Airport.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like, first of all, that they were landing in Anchorage. I mean, snow was everywhere.
Snow, ice, all that good
Wind was
stuff.
blowing 40 miles an hour. The plane comes in. It looks like it's doing just fine. I'm not sure what happened when it hit the ground. But basically, it looked like the wheels collapsed on the thing. It caught in flames and then somehow managed, after a wing broke, to roll over on its back.
Yeah.
So hopefully at this point in time, Everybody is buckled in like they should be. If you've ever wondered why you need to wear your seatbelt when they say so, check out that video because, shockingly enough, every single person on that plane made it out.
Yeah.
Now, 18 of those people were injured, but there were some positive updates. They said at first 3 people were maybe suffering from critical injuries, including a child. Those 3 people were taken to the hospital, and they were reported to be in good condition.
All right, good.
The airplane was designed to take a hit like this. According to one aviation analyst, it was a Bombardier CRJ 900, and its tail is designed to break off if the plane flips. So they basically said, hey, keep your seatbelt fastened. Here we go. It's not clear what caused the plane to overturn. The area was experiencing strong winds. They had snow on the ground. Passengers reported what it was like on board the plane, from which fire then erupted. It was mass chaos.
Did the fire erupt before it flipped? Because
when it rolled
I looked
over,
at the video. Is that when it? Because I thought it burst into flames, then rolled over.
Could have been.
It did.
Could have been.
So, I'm watching it right now.
So it burst into flames,
it kind
then
of
rolled
burst.
over.
The back of it bursts into flames, and then it rolls over.
They said it was just a surreal feeling, being
I bet it was.
hung upside down, and then basically have to drop yourself on your head onto the roof of the airplane. But miraculously enough, everyone made it out okay. So
that's gotta hurt too.
That is a miracle.
Yeah,
that is a miracle. So if you saw the footage, you just, geez, a whiz. How did anyone make it out of there alive? That's
Doesn't that
good
make
news.
you feel better about the plane, though?
I mean, yeah.
It burst into flames, flipped over, and everybody still survived.
And the guy says, hey, the tail's specifically designed to break off if it flips upside down. Although part of me was like, you should also design the plane not to flip the plane to flip over. But, that's just me.
Yep. Now we head to, where do we go now? Is this, I believe this is Indonesia. An unsuspecting man got a not-so-sweet surprise when he was bitten by a crocodile that had been rescued, and the terrifying encounter was caught on camera. This one will also make you go, Jesus, man.
Why would you stand that close to a crocodile?
The gentleman was a tourist, and a couple other tourists were checking out the, quote, lucky crocodile at Indonesia's Dairyland. It was reportedly saved from a flood last week. So basically what happened was...
How did you save a crocodile from a flood?
Because the flood went into a town, and you don't want that big of a crocodile hanging around downtown when you got a flood going on.
So they didn't really save the crocodile, they were saving people. The crocodile's just fine. It's water.
He was going for food. He was in the flood, but the croc ignores the man's food offering. Suddenly just chomps down on his arm and yanks him into the water and does one of those death rolls.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's why you don't stand as close to it as that guy did.
And you cannot believe how fast this crocodile yanks him back in and spins this guy. The footage, as they say, according to TMZ, straight out of everyone's worst nightmare. The poor grandpa was tossed around the water like a rag doll, and onlookers were screaming in panic. Miraculously, they somehow pulled this guy out of the water. And video later shows firefighters rushing him to the hospital with a severely injured arm. They revealed this croc was spotted near a landfill, and it laid eggs on the land near homes. So if there's a female, you know there's a male lurking nearby. Mm-hmm. So they're warning officials in that area to stay alert, because daddy's in the area. They still haven't figured out where that guy is.
So we got the one, but just know there's another one. This is a big-ass crocodile.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the thing, it's a dinosaur. And it takes this guy, and within not even a half a second, it has got him yanked into the pool with him and underwater. I mean, it happens that fast.
But the dude is literally standing a foot away from this thing, maybe, kind of leaning in, staring, looking at the face of it. Like, man, don't stand there.
No.
And that's why. That is why you do not stand there.
That's one of the reasons, even as I was a kid, I was freaked out going to the circus. Because they did bring in elephants back then.
Right.
And when these elephants come in, there were floor seats. And our whole school went to a matinee. And so most of the kids were on the floor around the ring, the way that this armory was kind of designed. And it was inside. And we were all sitting on the floor, and there were people sitting in the bleachers. But to be down there and watch them walk these animals in, where you're really just 15 feet away with no barrier, was one of the freakiest things that I remember from growing up.
Yeah, because you don't know the mood of the elephant. Years ago in Hawaii, an elephant burst out of the circus. So the footage they had was from outside. So you just see this door blow open. Here comes this elephant, and it's charging through the parking lot. And I always remember this dude closed a chain link fence and was trying to lock it. Well, the elephant, as you would imagine, runs right through that thing, and this guy, he just disappears off screen. I think he ended up being okay, but I'm like, you're not going to lock a chain link fence. No. But they eventually had to shoot the thing because it was just running down the middle of traffic, just smashing cars and doing whatever the hell an angry elephant wants to do, which you determine is pretty much any damn thing it wants.
Yep. Right, who's going to stop it?
Well, remember when Roy Horn was attacked by his tiger, right? What was that, maybe 2004, 2000?
A while ago.
Siegfried and Roy, they've been doing this show for God knows how long. They always had the tigers. They did their thing. But I'd always thought that, like you're saying with your school, watching these elephants walk in for a circus. I'm like, I never wanted to go to that show. I always heard about it, and apparently they were great performers. I'm like, but he has two big-ass white tigers out there. Like you said, if you're sitting in the floor seats, it's right there. And it's a tiger. And then when it attacked him, I just thought everyone in the audience has to be crapping their pants right now.
Absolutely. Mike, when you went down to Vegas, is the Mirage still there? Have they started tearing that thing down?
It was still there from the last time that I was there, which is, I guess it would be in November. But there's a whole lot of, this thing's coming down around it.
Because those tigers, last time I was in that area, they were still being housed there.
Yeah, the big glass.
And I think they might have put in like an aquarium type thing. But either way, the tigers were still there at the time because you could walk in and
they were big. They were big.
I mean, the first time I went to Vegas, that was a thing, right? Like, we went over to the Mirage because they had a Studio 54.
Okay.
We couldn't get in there. But it was still cool just to go in because those tigers were just in glass cages, like the zoo, but in that casino.
Yep.
So that was a thing. We just were like, cool.
But the idea of those guys being 10 feet away from you, if you got front row seats to see the show.
That's what I'm saying. So when it attacks Roy Horn, you got to think, like, the tiger doesn't like him. And now I'm just sitting there, and I don't know the proper response with the tiger, right? So, like, when an elephant's charging, everyone's going to get up and run. And yes, I know it can outrun me. But a tiger, I'm like, it's not like you lay down and play dead, right? You're not going to outrun it. You're not going to outfight it. So do you just scream or grab a human shield?
I mean, I think honestly, if that thing had turned on the audience, I think it would have been panic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our question,
I'm saying, I don't know. I would have turned and screamed.
What is the one story that you will always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Adam. Welcome to the men's room. What in the hell is that?
Yeah.
Hold on. Just like a kid song or something?
That's what it feels like.
Hello, Adam.
Yo.
Hola.
Hola.
Sorry to bother you.
You aren't bothering me one bit. How's it going?
Doing well, hey, one quick question for you. What is that music playing in the background?
That is something that I made up.
Oh, you were bringing the comedy.
Oh, are you talking about this little hamster guy here?
It sounded like a little kid song or something?
Yep.
Okay.
You're actively working on that, okay.
All right. So what do you remember about your travels there, Adam? What a way to start today.
Yeah. Hey, I was, if you want, you can get a live demonstration of this craziness, but...
all right. We're done. We're done with that.
Colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio.
We do not indeed have...
Sucker.
I knew it.
Mother... And
I knew it.
Please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for your mess, Adam.
Well, I mean, I'll give you guys a special performance. You want to hear it?
Yeah, why would you bring that up? No, look, man. Look, I don't know you. Maybe it's great. Nobody wanted to see that. Nobody wants a live performance of that. I can promise you.
I don't think people understand how many listeners of this show are prolific in making music.
Oh, yeah.
We get emails, I'd say, every other day from a couple dudes that just write songs.
Sure.
They're going, this guy's making music with sounds like chipmunks.
I'm going to say so far he's the worst of them. It's just based on a small sample size. I'm saying he's
the missing fourth chipmunk.
Right? I kind of wanted to hear some of that chipmunk
Congratulations, you made the list.
Yeah. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Hey, listening via the Odyssey app.
All right. There you go.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. So I was, I'll try and make this as fast as I possibly can. It's a little bit of a long story. So going to a Grateful Dead show in, I believe it was middle 2000s. And actually it was the Dead show, not the Grateful Dead. And it was over at the Gorge. We grabbed a friend of ours' niece that came up from the East Coast who followed the Dead over to the West Coast, and we were in charge of her for the entire weekend. we were only supposed to see one night over at the gorge. We saw the one night. However, we were going to go camping the rest of the weekend. So me and my buddy, on our way there, we ended up having a bus fire. He had a 78 Volkswagen bus, and it caught fire at the gas pumps. And then put that out. After that got put out, went to the show, had great fun. The next morning, we wanted to have more fun, so we decided to find a bunch of riders with some gas to go down to Viennetta, down at the Eugene County Fairgrounds down in Oregon, and spent the night down across from the Willamette River, and woke up to a bunch of naked joggers on the day of the show. Pull into the parking lot. My buddy gets a miracle ticket with some dude that hops out of this school bus, traded his shirt for the ticket. Sucker pissed me off. And so I'm stuck in the parking lot, and our friend Laura, she was nowhere to be found at this point. So we're down at Viennetta, okay? And I'm sitting outside of the show, and I didn't know, but the further bus was down there, or not, the further bus was inside the show. My buddy's sitting in the actual driver's seat, smoking a bowl, and all of a sudden you got Chuck Berry singing White Rabbit on stage with, the surviving members of the Dead. And I'm outside trying to listen as best as I could, trying to kill some time. I ended up trading a pair of socks, get this, for some acid.
For a pair of socks?
A little bit of time. A pair of socks, dude. I can't make this stuff up either. It was fun as hell. But anyway, so yeah, I did. I traded a pair of socks for some acid, and finally the show got over with. And so all of a sudden my buddy Tracy, he comes out, and we're kind of like hanging out, waiting in the bus, trying to wait for Laura. Well, she was over on Shakedown Street. We went up and down Shakedown Street probably a good 4 or 5 times because we had to leave by a certain time. Now, mind you, I was out in the parking lot trying to get gas money for our way home from Eugene. And I only made like 20 some odd, $30, slinging a couple T-shirts. And needless to say, we made it all the way up to Lake Stevens from Eugene. Halfway up the driveway, that's when our bus ran out of gas.
Oh, wow. Hey, yeah, it was made at home.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, that sounds like par for the course from anyone I know that's ever gone on a Grateful Dead adventure.
It really does.
Except for the fact you didn't make grilled cheese. I mean, that's the only thing that you missed out on.
I just can't believe you lost somebody on Shakedown Street. That never happens.
You gave socks for acid. Like, how cool are your socks for me to part with my drugs?
I think it's more of if you've been following the Dead around.
Yeah.
You've been wearing the same Birkenstocks or being like you'd be shocked.
Okay, yeah.
Like a couple of years, like one year at Burning Man, I just bought a bunch of extra ankle socks and would just give them out as gifts. And people were so thankful.
I can believe
by the end of the week. So I'd imagine you've been traveling around following Dead or the Fish. You probably, a pair of clean new socks probably felt like heaven.
What is one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
This is the mighty 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Pinky's Plumbing Studio, you're in the men's room. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK.
I say gone are the days of running away from an erupting volcano. In Italy, tourists are flocking to Mount Etna, which began spewing on February the 11th. Now, this has created, as they say, an extremely dangerous situation at the base of the volcano. And Sicily's head of regional civil protection describes a wild scene with cars crowding the narrowed roads, bringing traffic, believe it or not, to a standstill and leaving rescue vehicles unable to pass and get to where people need to be rescued.
You mean at the active volcano?
That's correct. He adds that the very day trippers creating the problem could find themselves in need of rescue due to the risks of falls and people sinking into the snow. Over the weekend, thousands of people hiked up the volcano to get the best views of the eruption. They ignored all of the directive to stay at least 1,600 feet from the lava. Media outlets even aired footage of daredevils skiing at the spot where lava meets snow. It exposes them to serious risks as the lava interacting with snow can instantly vaporize, and the thermal energy released may violently hurl fragments or rocks. Now, as of yesterday, lava flows were advancing from the volcano's southeast crater, though no immediate threat to inhabited areas are foreseen in the future. Now, the fire brigade was called in on Monday when 6 adults and 2 minors who were there traveling got lost on the mountain. They were found hours later. Others had been reported missing over the preceding days. 1 man fell and broke his foot. There also have been numerous diverted flights in and out of the airports at the base of Mount Etna, which is Europe's tallest and most active volcano.
Yeah, don't go there.
Our question, what is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Chrissy. Welcome to the men's room.
Blackjack and hookers, bitches.
Hola.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, thank you.
Hey, happy Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. So my story is kind of a two-parter. So my old man and I decided to take a trip down the 101. And the first step.
What's happening today?
I don't know. She's fired up. I mean, you got to tell us the story so we can laugh too.
Yeah, exactly. What's the funny part on Highway 1? I've driven a lot of that.
So the first part on Highway 101 is,
oh my God.
I know, it's too much. So we stop at this hotel, and we're really, really high. And there's this couple that's staying in the room next to us. And while we're laughing our ass off watching Bill dance videos, they start packing their stuff, and they left because we were laughing so hard. But then when we got down to San Francisco, my favorite part of this whole trip is that we get down to San Francisco, and my buddies, his friend, he booked us a room or whatever. And we get down there and we look at the room, and it's we roll into the room, and he's like, oh no. And I'm like, what? What do you mean, oh no? And he's like, my old man's like, this cannot be possibly the hotel. It was a hotel that was under renovations, and the whole thing is torn apart, scaffolding all over it and stuff like that. Oh, it was great.
Okay. All right. Well, good times.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something weird going on today.
Yeah, we have is that full moon?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I thought the full moon was last week.
It definitely was last week.
Okay, so I'm not going crazy.
No. You're not.
Maybe it's just delayed effect.
Yeah.
She certainly liked the story.
It's always weird when the Stone Grateful Dead guy tells the best story.
So far.
Yeah.
So basically hers was just... We were traveling. We booked a hotel room that was under construction.
Yeah, that's what I got.
And 101 is very funny. Have you ever taken a drive down it?
You know what? I haven't. I've always wanted to.
Ted, it's hysterical.
Have any of you actually driven down it?
Yeah.
I've rode down it as a kid. As my parents tell the story, they were very excited. My brother and I guess we were 7 and 12, somewhere in that area. And they were very excited. My parents were like, hey, it's scenic. Man, they're looking out of the water. They're like, this can be great for the kid. They're always going to remember this. They said about an hour into the trip, my mother's like, your father's ready to open the back door and push both of you guys out. You didn't care. Your brother kept reading the knock-knock jokes. And I said, you bought him a knock-knock joke book. That's parenting fail 101. You guys figured that out. You didn't care. You're bitching. Are we there yet? All that. It's it's supposed to be a scenic drive. And we realize when it comes to children, scenic means nothing. You're either at a location or you're stuck in the car. And they're like, it doesn't. You could be driving in the jungle. Look at the elephants. They want to get out of the car.
No, you got to tell your kids to look up. You could have the most beautiful.
But they don't care.
You got to remind them.
Hey, look up. Check this out. What? Oh, okay.
We drove our kids through New Mexico, man, and just the terrain there. It's nothing here. It is absolutely gorgeous. And we're like, guys, look at this. And they're like, it's a desert. We're like, yeah, I know, but you're in it, man. Take it in. They're like, it's brown. Come on, you have no appreciation for this. Zero.
Well, I've heard the 101 is it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But my cousin did it, and he was like, man, it's kind of sketchy at some point.
It is. I'm telling you, I've been all the way from the top, all the way down to the border of California and Oregon. So that's as far as I've gone so far. But I'm telling you, man.
All right, they drove all the way up from Monterey.
Oh, so they did a lot of there's more scenic stuff once you get south as well.
Yes.
No disrespect to the Oregon coast. Just apparently south of there, it starts getting like a little more windy, a little more scenic, a little more crazy as far as the drive, paying attention.
Exactly.
As
Because
far as
it was like on their honeymoon. He was like, we're going to take this great drive.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to come up, drive up to Washington, see you. And he's like, oh, my wife loved it. He was like, but there was parts he said he was like white knuckling.
Yeah, you are.
Like, damn, this is kind of sketchy.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jesse. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so here's my story. So when COVID hit, I was living in L.A. at the time, and I was paying about $3,000 to rent a room. It was pretty ridiculous, so I wasn't going to stay there and do nothing. I happened to have a big SUV, and so I put a bed in the back and a beat-up old Honda motorcycle on the tailgate, right? All right, so I used that to travel from L.A. up to Seattle and then all the way across to New York and back again. Yeah, dude, probably 4 times. And I visited every city along the way, from Denver to Chicago to, all the way to Portland, Maine was the first time I saw the Atlantic Ocean. But, all right, here's the most memorable part was I didn't know how to ride this motorcycle that I had bought.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so I wanted to find somewhere I wouldn't make a fool out of myself. And so I went to Death Valley.
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
To not make a fool out of yourself. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I learned how to shift and how to clutch and how to ride a motorcycle. It was under the stars in Death Valley in the middle of COVID.
How long did it take you to figure it all out, to the point that you were comfortable riding it?
By the time I had gotten to New York, I was ready for New York traffic. But here's the thing. Here's the other most memorable part of this story was by the time I got to New York, it was empty. It was 2021, January. They had just dropped the ball. And so Fifth Avenue is arguably the most crowded street in America. They just started doing congestion taxes on it.
Yeah.
It's that crazy, right? So by the time I got there, I was riding a motorcycle down a deserted Fifth Avenue with nothing but green lights as far as the eye could see.
Man, you are one of the few people that will ever say that.
Yeah, man, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like, remember that movie Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise where he wakes up having the dream and he's in Times Square?
Yeah.
And there's no one there?
Felt like that?
It was like that, only, the entire island of Manhattan.
All right, let me ask you this. What was the most boring part of that drive?
Let me say, all right, so you guys remember the movie Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
All right, so Dyersville, Iowa has...
I knew you were going to say Iowa. I knew it. If you've driven through Iowa, it is the most boring part of your trip.
I only know that's where that field is.
Yep.
Yep, so I went a good 5 hours out of the way when I was heading to Chicago just to go to that house that they filmed Field of Dreams at, and they turned it into an Airbnb. And I tell you, they got a bar at the Field of Dreams with buy one, get one free whiskeys for $2.
Oh, you found your home.
Yeah, well, if you're not seeing Ray Liotta walking out of a cornfield by the end of that, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of all the places that you got to see on this ridiculous trip of yours, where's the one place you would want to go back to?
One place I want to go back to, let's see. New York was beautiful. Once you go to, where is it? It's where they filmed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Montauk.
Montauk,
yeah.
I mean, that's pricey.
Yeah. The beaches on Montauk. Imagine all the houses on Mercer Island just stretched out on Montauk. That's exactly the same thing. But I set up a projector and I watched Gattaca underneath the stars on Montauk. I think that I think that's probably my number one place I want to go back to.
Okay. All right, man.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool trip.
Sounds like an awesome trip, man. Damn. I knew he was going to say Iowa. And if it wasn't Iowa, it was going to be Ohio. But I'm like, if he drove through Iowa, as a fact, it will be the most boring state you've ever driven through.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, I put Ohio up there, too.
Ohio sucks.
Yeah, there's not much to
just
see.
if you have to drive through it, man, because what the stadies are out, and the only reason you're speeding in Ohio is to get out of Ohio. You know, when they put, why are you driving so fast? Like, because I want to get out of your state, man.
Well, it's just like, I don't know, you drive from you have the Eastern Seaboard with all the major cities.
Sure, that's fine.
Right, and then you kind of get out into the Appalachians, and you're like, all right.
Kind of beautiful, sure.
Right, and then, I don't know, you just get to Ohio, and it's just...
Everything ends.
Right, people that grow up here on the West Coast think of, Ohio as the East Coast. It's not.
No.
It's the Midwest, and it's just car factories and farmland.
Right. It is awful. I mean, Indiana's not much better, man. So the Jackson family, right, Michael Jackson, they're from Gary, Indiana. And we're driving to Chicago. And the only thing I know about Gary, Indiana is the Jackson family and what's the play, the Music Man?
Okay.
Gary, Indiana. Seriously, that's all I know. So I see the sign that says downtown Gary, Indiana, 1 mile. So I look to my right. And, dude, downtown, so, most cities have some kind of skyline. The skyline is just factories. And all these factories had the flames shooting out of the top. That was downtown. And it was like...
You cannot believe...
Nah, man.
Toledo's the same way on Lake Erie. And you'd think anything on a lake would be beautiful.
You would think.
And this place is
just...
they messed up a great lake. Just by putting a city on that stretch.
That particular city. You're right.
Toledo's a pretty sad little town.
It's horrible.
And if you're from Toledo, you know we're speaking the truth. You can't even get up. You can defend it and say the people are nice. I'm sure they are, but the city's a hellhole.
They fought over that, too.
They fought over what?
Way back in the day. Yeah, it was the two states were fighting or whatever.
To claim Toledo?
Oh, yeah.
So the loser had to take them?
People flee Toledo to go to downtown Detroit to live.
Yeah, no kidding.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Brock. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So I'm going to apologize to Mike because I'm changing my story. I thought it had to be an airline story. But I did want to say I just recently was found out that my ex-wife listens to your guys' show. So in the future, I got to watch my stories now.
Well, how did you find out? Did you say something about her?
But you're already divorced.
No, well, yeah, and it's been 9 years, so it's been a long time. But
you call her bitch.
Are you still worried she's going to come over and beat your ass?
Well, no, she has a police boyfriend, or he's retired police. I don't know. I just don't want any issues.
I got you.
All right. Now we're tracking with you.
All right. So this is right before COVID. I went with my travel trailer down to Mount Bachelor with my son and his girlfriend. The first time having my son and a girl on a trip with us. We had a great weekend, and on our way back, it's like a 19-foot travel trailer. I'm a CDL driver, so I've been driving my whole life, basically, and I'm coming down the pass, and I'm almost to Auburn, or the exit at 18, and it's late at night, so there's no cars around, but all of a sudden I see this semi flashing me, and I was like, what is going on? And I look at one mirror where he's flashing me, because there's a trailer behind me I can't see, and I look in the other, and I see that my tire on the trailer is on fire. So it's like, oh, my God, what the hell is going on? So we pull over, and the axle, we had just had it serviced. The axle wasn't greased properly. The bearings inside the axle were melting. It caught the tire on fire. And so we opened the door real quick, and I didn't have my glasses on me, and I've never really used a fire extinguisher. So my other half, she grabs it, and then she ends up putting out the fire. And so that problem solved. But so it's like 11 o'clock at night, so it's late. She takes the dog, the kids, and the car down. It's an SUV, so I loaded as much as I could in the SUV, and then I'm sitting on the side of the freeway on I-90, and just trailers going by, and it shake the whole thing. It was trippy. I'm just sitting there in the trailer, just like, oh, my God. And so it was too expensive to get a tow that night. It was going to be like $1,300.
Jesus.
And so we said, forget about it, because of the height of it. They had to get a certain trailer, blah, blah, blah. That's what they said. It was a Sunday night late. I think they were just trying to get some extra cash. But so I said, screw it. Let's just do it tomorrow. So the next morning, we get it only is $600 to get it towed. We set up the tow. I'm actually that day going to get a COVID test because I'm getting a colonoscopy in a couple days. So my other half is on the phone with setting up the appointment. And as we're pulling up on the other side of the freeway, I look over where the trailer's supposed to be, and the trailer's gone. And I'm like, oh, my God, did they get here before us and tow it? And so I tell her to get off the phone. What the heck is going on? And she gets off the phone, and we find out that, no, they hadn't been there, and our trailer was stolen.
Oh no. So
Yeah,
did they ever find the thing?
A year to the date almost. We finally found out where it was. We had been reimbursed and stuff, so it took a while because of COVID. It was like trying to replace the trailer. It was just a pain in the ass.
Right.
But we, got our money back, and it turns out one of the last places that I called, the tow company, it was like a mile from there. And it was right by our house. This was we lived in Mill Creek at the time. This was all the way up, it could have gone anywhere. For weeks, I was driving around trying to find this thing, looking at people's houses. And no, it was a bunch of meth heads. It turns out they found the trailer. He had stolen a bunch of other trailers. I think that the tow company called their buddy and said, hey, this trailer's up here. You might want to go grab it. It was towed with a tow dolly from U-Haul. They found the tow dolly there. And then they let us go through to try to get stuff. It's a year later. Everything was gone. There was some personal stuff that I wanted that I cared about. Everything else was reimbursed. But there was some stuff from my dad that had passed and other stuff in the car or in the trailer that was,
Did they bust the guys who stole it?
Yeah, no, he was caught. He was in jail. So that's how we found out. And at that point, we'd already got all our money back. We did all right.
How far away did they find the trailer from your house?
So, what's that, 60 or about 60 miles? Oh, from my house?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only 2 miles.
Damn, man.
Okay.
Well, because we were having it towed nearer to our house. So one of the tow companies I called was in our neighborhood in Mill Creek. And so, yeah. But it's funny as heck because they had me send pictures of the trailer and all this stuff. It's like, why are you having me send pictures? The tow company.
Yeah.
So.
Well, those Apple iTags, man, they work. I've got a pocket full of them. I put them in like my golf bag when I'm traveling. If I know I'm going someplace, or if I know something is of importance to me.
Yeah, your golf clubs for sure.
If I go to Tacoma and park my car outside, I take my Apple AirTag and put it in my car.
In the car for sure, man.
Yeah, where I should just put it in my car if I park in Fremont. But for whatever reason, I've got it in my head that it's Tacoma.
Fremont's not very drivable. Not worth stealing a car there.
My buddy did it on one of his bikes at Burning Man. His people steal them.
Oh, yeah? Didn't anyone take it?
We tracked that thing all the way to West Hollywood.
Damn.
And then we had the idea of going down there and just be like, hey,
it's my bike.
Did you go and take it back?
No.
You didn't do the Pee Wee Herman?
I don't think it was in a section of West Hollywood we wanted to go to.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
The brand new Grand Casino and Shoreline is now open. Step into the action with Vegas-style table games like Baccarat, Heads Up Hold'em Poker, Pai Gow, Blackjack, and High Card Flush. Feeling hungry? Feast on delicious Chinese, Vietnamese, and continental dishes plus breakfast favorites. Dine in or take out. And don't miss daily happy hours from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. to midnight. Grand Casino and Shoreline off Aurora. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. Visit GrandCasinoGaming.com. Welcome to the Grand Experience.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/confluence. That's Atlassian.com/CONFLUENCE.
Auto insurance rates are on the rise, which is why you should call Vern Fonk Insurance. Vern Fonk could save you up to 20% on your auto insurance. The pros at Vern Fonk will do all the work, comparing different plans to find you the best options. And they can insure you over the phone. One call to Vern Fonk could save you up to 20%. Call 206-408-5094. 206-408-5094.
Remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
Restrictions apply based on a Q3 2023 study of Vern Fonk insurance customers who reported saving when they switched. License number 1070622.
I recently found out that you can see a personal dietitian covered by insurance. There's this platform called Nourish that will match you with a dietitian based on whatever your concerns are, whether that's weight loss, eating disorders, autoimmune conditions, or something else. They're actually a network with major insurance providers, so most patients pay $0 out of pocket. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Fly Condor Airlines nonstop to Frankfurt and connect effortlessly to most European destinations. Relax and start your vacation in comfort. Fly the striped way. Visit Condor.com today and book your next adventure.
Hey, anyone know what channel the game's on? We know. Download the Sports on What app today and always know how to watch the game. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Subscribe today to start your 7-day free trial. Sports on What? We know. 99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
1, 2, 3, 1 story you'll always remember about your travels. 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Yo, what's up?
Hola!
Hey, yeah, I thought that one woman had a terrible story and I could do better, but staying in that green room, I might have lost focus here. So
okay.
Bear with me. Yeah, so my nephew's having a graduation party and we're flying out to Buffalo, New York. He goes to RIT. I'm sure you know about that, Thrill.
Yes,
Probably
indeed.
had a garbage plate or two. You know, a couple Jenny Creamers, whatnot.
Ew, man. Look, don't drink Jenny Cream Ale. That is a terrible, terrible beer. I love Rochester, but, man, that beer is awful.
There's probably one beer I turn down anytime it's offered, and that's Jenny. That's the only one. But yeah, anyway, family lives in Buffalo. We're flying out from Seattle. But the real piece of the story that's key is my mother-in-law is in from China, and she don't speak a lick of English.
All right.
Like, maybe thank you. That's about it. So we get that note that the plane's delayed coming in from Colorado to Seattle. So naturally, we're going to miss our connections. And, you know, everyone's had flight delays.
Of course.
It's really how we respond to this, you know, that makes the story. So anyway, like, you're not going to make your connection. It's like Seattle to D.C. to Buffalo. Not going to make your connection. So here's, and we're flying 2 days before the graduation party, so we think we got plenty of time. It's like, hey, this is what we can do to get you on time. We can send your wife to Detroit. You can go to Pittsburgh, and we'll send your mother-in-law to, like, Charlotte, and you guys can all rendezvous in Buffalo.
Like, that's not going to work. So anyway, we're trying to cut a deal. Like, listen, why don't you we're going to come down in D.C. We'll just get off there. We'll get our bags, and then we'll figure it out from there. And anyway, they refused to give us our bags in D.C. Like, no, your bags have to go to Buffalo. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, do you realize you can't physically get us to Buffalo? Why would you send our bags to Buffalo? So, needless to say, I came unglued at the airport. And finally, they worked it out. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't do it originally, but they worked it out to where, we end up in, take the red eye, land in D.C., come down, no problems. Well, now it's like, all right, let's go get a rental car, and we're going to drive from Buffalo to D.C. after being on the red eye here. So
it's about an 8-hour drive, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's like 6-7 hours maybe. But, we're looking for the rental in the airport. Like, no problem. We'll go pick up our bags, find out where the rental car is, figure it out. Well, they got a shuttle bus driver to take you over to the rental car terminal, I guess, right?
Okay.
So now he starts asking us, he's like, hey, do you have a reservation? And I'm like, well, no, we just, kind of winging it right now. So he refused to take us over there. So anyway, I started like wigging out again. So this is where the F-bombs really came in. But it was so cool to see my mother-in-law have my back and be there dropping F-bombs to the shuttle bus driver.
Wait,
and,
so the woman can only say thank you, can also say
you drop
F-bomb.
F-bombs.
She learned F-bombs that weekend.
All right.
And so now, I can say a few phrases in Chinese and whatnot. I've been there 5-6 times, and we talk on the phone a little bit, just briefly say hello, and that's about it. But now that's her thing. When she calls, she'll give me an FU here and there. So,
Well, did you make the celebration?
We did make the celebration.
Okay. All right.
How did you end up getting there? Did you end up renting a car, or did you get another flight?
But that's the whole thing. They're like, you got to go and call from some payphone and make a reservation. So what are you talking about? And we go back in the airport, and so the lady is telling us that one of those information booths they used to have in the shopping mall.
Yeah.
It's go down there. There's a bank of phones. I don't see nothing. So she turns to her coworker hey, can you just watch the counter? I'm going to escort these people to phones. And she walks down with us, and then she's like, well, I don't understand. They used to be right here. I'm like, well, clearly they're not. So, what are we meant to do? But she's like, just get on. And fortunately, there was it must have been between the loops or whatever. And there was another shuttle bus driver, and we just snuck on, play hey, you got a reservation? Yeah, we got a reservation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I've never been asked that question, man. And all the times that I've rented a car. You just wait for the bus. I've never had them ask me.
That satellite center is in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So you wouldn't be getting on that bus if your intent was not to get a car. Even if
I didn't know. I mean,
there's only 9 different services you can get it from.
There's no. I can't imagine people getting on that bus just to ride it. It's not like the light rail or the bus downtown.
Right. It goes to one spot and then it goes back to the.
And generally, homeless people aren't at the airport.
That is, you know what? That is a strong point. I will say this: we were in D.C. and we had an early morning flight, 7:30 or something. So it's about 4:30 in the morning. My wife and I were trying to return the rental car. And if you know anything about D.C., it's in an area called Crystal City, okay?
All right.
But if you're not exactly sure how to get to Crystal, you can look at it. But to get there, if you don't know how to get there, you just don't know how to get there. So I can't remember what expressway we're on. But we're the only car on the road, and it's a rental. So we kept circling around because we're like, man, we've got to find the exit to Crystal City. It's got to be here.
Well, also, you should mention, Crystal City's right there, the airport, then the Pentagon.
Right.
But it is very hard to get off the correct exit to get to that airport.
And so that's what we discovered. We knew the Pentagon was closed just because we're familiar with the area, but we're not giving it a lot of thought. We realized in our third loop around, and keep in mind, I'm on the phone with a guy that works at the rental car place, and I said, look, man, we've got the car. We just can't get to Crystal City. But he couldn't give us directions because he's like, man, I just know how to get there from my house, but I could not tell you, He has no idea. So, the third time we go around on this loop, my wife's like, is that car following us? And I look out the back window, and it's this black SUV. I said, man, they're probably looking for the rental place, too. Don't give it a thought. We circle around the fourth time. Well, now there are 3 black SUVs clearly following us. And I'm like, that's the Fed. Because we're circling around the Pentagon. They do not know who we are. I'm sure they've already run the license plate and everything they got to do. But I'm like, we need to find us an exit. We had to circle around one more time. We had 5 black SUVs.
They pull you over?
No, they just because there's like no one on the road. There's us. There's 5 black SUVs, and that's making me nervous. I'm like, babe, they're gonna open fire and like take our heads off or something. We finally found the exit and returned this goddamn car. But I was like, that and the thing about it was when we found the exit, 2 of them followed us basically to the car drop off place. And once they saw us walk in and hand over the keys and wait for the bus to take it, then they drove off. I was like, man, this is not cool.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Tim. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
Hola.
Well, I'm going back to the 101 story just because it seemed relevant today. So me and my wife were taking a road trip down to Los Angeles, and I knew that I was going to go ahead and propose to her on that trip. So the main thing that it was, get down to San Francisco after 8 hours of driving and get down to the Golden Gate Bridge. We're all nasty looking and stuff like that. And as soon as we get down to the bottom and looking right at it, pop the question right then and there. And, yeah, she literally asked me, like, are you sure?
That was her response.
That was her response right there with a massive smile and shock on her face. I was like, yeah, pretty sure I was sure about that. I've had this ring for 2 months now.
Well, that's cool.
I'm assuming she followed that up with a yes.
She sure did.
And are you still married?
We are, yes. 3 lovely years and a whole lot more to go.
That's
the
wonderful.
nice thing is every time that we see the Golden Gate Bridge, it just goes ahead and reminds us of exactly where I popped the question. But the other fun thing about that trip was doing the adult version of seeing every 50 state. So we were able to knock out 3 right there.
Yeah, now without question.
Did you have a contingency plan if she said no?
I did. I was going to say, well, have fun getting home.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
All right,
like, do you have a way to get home? All
or
right.
you drive to the airport and then let her drive home.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Scott. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hola. Yes, we can.
Hola. Hey, man, first-time caller, long-time listener. I've been waiting the last couple weeks for your question of the day to find something that was relevant, and I do have a story for you guys. But before I do that, I want to give a shout-out to my buddy Paul Alvarez, who passed away on February 3rd. A long battle in Harborview.
Oh, sorry to hear
really
that,
close for him. It was pretty brutal, and he was a huge fan of you guys.
All right.
So
That's,
means a lot taking my call.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yep. Shout out to Paul. But yeah, so my story involves, I was at the end of my college years, about 10 years ago now, and we were set to do this internship overseas, and it was supposed to be, a celebratory thing. And you guys ever hear the Great White Buffalo?
I mean Ted Nugent?
I mean, I don't know if that's a thing, but the Great White Buffalo to me is the one that got away.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about the song from
Ted Nugent,
from the Amboy Dukes.
Yeah, I know Ted Nugent. It's a little bit before my time, but at the same time, it's like one of my mom's bands,
Yeah.
And so the Great White Buffalo, to me, is the one that got away. So we're planning this trip. We're going to go overseas, and this girl, and we'll call her Lindsay, is, beautiful. And I'm like 25 at the time, so I'm thinking this is a locked-in deal. We're going to go do this internship. We're going to come back, whatever happens there. So we planned this trip to Tokyo after our internship was in a different country. And turns out I get over here to this internship, and, mind you, we're all college students, and there's 21 women and 3 guys. So you could do the math there. Pretty much messed it up the very first day. And, yeah, I'll spare you the details. But fast forward to, we get to Tokyo afterwards, and she doesn't want to go out, right? She's not feeling well. I clearly messed things up, but we still have this hotel plan. So I go out. I'm like, you know what? I'm only going to be in Tokyo for a couple nights. I'm going to go make the best of this thing. And I get out there. I'm just kind of roaming the streets. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Tokyo, but
nope, I have not.
It is truly an amazing city, and we're in this little, I don't know if you call it a province or a ward called Shibuya. You guys know the one, you've seen the videos of everyone crossing the street crazy in Tokyo.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the spot, right? So I'm like, I'm hitting the town. And all the little 7-Elevens, they only got one whiskey in there, and it's Jim Beam, and they're little pint, like half pints. And they're like, well, you can't just walk around drinking that. It's like common knowledge. And I'm like, but is it illegal? And I'm like, that's the most American thing we've heard, right? But mind you, I'm grabbing the half pints and I'm walking around and I run into these Navy guys. I'm like, you guys speak English? I'm coming with you. So we end up just like partying all night. And it was just like the craziest experience. And we hit this, like, the big cities have really crazy clubs and like party scenes, I guess, if you will, maybe New York, Tokyo, or two I think of. And it's like the 6-story, party DJs, everything. And we get into this one spot and there's a DJ and he pulls me up on stage. And I'm like, holy crap, what is going on right now? And I'm like sitting here in front of like a whole rave and I'm thinking I'm in there for like an hour or two. And no, I walk outside and the birds are chirping. It's like 9 a.m. and there's like 3 Japanese girls with me. I'm walking back to the hotel apparently. And I just had to say goodbye. I walked back up there, and the rest was history, and that was my great white buffalo story.
That sounds like you lost Lindsay.
Would you do it again?
Gosh, I've questioned that over the years here, but probably, but,
You would.
How long were you dating her?
We weren't really dating. It was more of like a, man, I got this in the bag type of thing. And this is going to be my girl, going to come home. But, man, the odds were stacked against me on that trip.
Yeah, the odds were stacked against your brain and your penis.
Yeah, because the penis wins. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So the brain.
The odds were not stacked against you. Your body did exactly what it told you to do.
Yeah, like your brain says, hey, man, you know better than this. Your penis is like, do not listen to your brain right now. I am in charge. Do you understand this?
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
I mean, honestly, your penis is your biggest enemy.
Yeah.
If you're a dude.
It's not a devil. It's not a devil on your shoulders.
It's
testicles.
the penis. It is your penis. That is the devil on your shoulder.
Oh, you know better, but it's like, come on, let's just do it.
Yeah, your penis is like, look, man, first of all, I don't have eyes, so I don't care what she looks like. Like, just do this. The brain sent me a signal that says I am ready for action. And once you tell me that, we're going to close the deal.
I think you made a couple bold moves. Just taking a trip with a girl you haven't hooked up with.
To Tokyo.
Right, assuming you will.
Right.
Because you don't know. And then, she's angry at me. Let's go out and live it up first night.
So let's go drinking on the
I
streets.
feel like the rest of those nights must have sucked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hello, Annie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
I have a story that takes place about 20 years ago when I was in my early 20s. My husband and I, well, he's my husband now, he's my boyfriend then, decided to go visit my grandpa in this little tiny town in Idaho. And my cousin, we visited there for years. My cousins have always warned me, if you're driving and they see Washington plates, you're probably going to get pulled over by the police. So that was in my mind. So we're just crossed into Idaho, and my husband has some open containers. I'm not drinking. And some weed, and if you know anything about Idaho, they do not like.
They do not mess around with weed.
All.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. So we're driving along on the freeway, and I see a police officer coming in past me, and I'm like, oh my God. Sure enough, I see him kind of U-turn, and I take off. I'm like, okay. This is not the smartest move as I'm reciting this story.
I thought you were going to say we threw open containers out of the window, but no, you just floored it.
No. So we hit this little town called Ferdinand, and I pull off. Somehow this police officer has not caught up to me. Maybe he's not as worried about it as I thought he was. And the whole time, getting there like a mile, I'm totally freaked out. And they have it's a little tiny town. There's a few houses and a diner. And so I, park behind this diner like I'm going to hide from the police here. And we go inside, we calm down. Nothing's happened. No police have bust in. And I go to the restroom, and I'm looking at the wall, and there's this huge, thick cutout of Adam. he's naked with only the fig leaf covering.
Like biblical
And
Adam.
I'm looking, yes, biblical Adam. And
In
I'm
the
like,
bathroom at a diner in Idaho. All right.
yes. And so then I noticed that this fig leaf has hinges on the top of it.
Oh, no.
And so I'm washing my hands and I'm looking and I'm like, I'm going to see what is under there. So I lift up the leaf and it's connected to a string that is connected to a bell in the kitchen. So you pull up that leaf and the whole restaurant hears this loud bell, knowing that you're trying to peek at biblical Adam under his fig leaf.
That's brilliant.
So when you walk out of the
Then I
bathroom,
have to walk out.
are they all waiting for you? Are they clapping for you? What?
Oh yeah, no, they're all watching me as I come out, and
Oh, how was Adam doing?
smiling and
That is great.
Yeah, that is. That's how they get you. Just when you think you can sneak a look at some penis.
Oh, I was.
Probably made your boyfriend proud, didn't it? Yeah, well, at least you try to take a look.
So I'm guessing this is just like
he
some
was like, what?
like some highway diner where they know like everyone's just a traveler. You're never going to see him again. And I like that. I like that move.
What is the one story that you will always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Slow drain being a pain? Call Pinky. That pipe's being a little leaky? Call Pinky. When the toilet won't flush and you're in a rush? Call Pinky. When your shower lost all its spray power? Call Pinky. When your sink's on the blink? Call Pinky. Pinky's Plumbing promises to lick all your plumbing problems quick. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL Limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between, because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
The mighty 99.9 KISW and KISW HD1 Seattle. Always live on the free Odyssey app from the Pinky's Plumbing Studio. You're in the men's room. Text the guys at 206-803-ROCK.
10 rock albums that turned 50 this year. Coming up, we'll sit and spin at 4:30 right after emails on our question, what is the one story you will always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, back in middle school, I think it was during midwinter break, my parents decided to take me and my sister down to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
All right.
And I was like, so that was pretty fun. And except for when we got off the airplane, my sister almost got kidnapped by a suspicious car that kept like, being like, no, I'll take you to your hotel. So they almost got her. And then her being a redhead, she wanted to get a tan.
So she got FPS 15 and decided to tan in Mexico and turn into a lobster from head to toe.
So she ruined about 2 days of her trip, didn't she?
Oh, it was roughly about 3, and then when she finally was ready and able to leave the hotel room, my dad was like, "Screw it, we're going to go to a nice restaurant." None were available, so we went to Hooters.
Oops.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, sure. None were available,
Sure.
kids.
I called everywhere.
So I have to take you to Hooters. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, so 12-year-old me is thrilled as all hell that we're at Hooters right now. This was absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, you got all of the good hotel food, beach food and all that stuff. And then we decided to go, horseback riding up in mountains. And these horses looked like they haven't been fed in a long ass time. But man, they climbed up them hills pretty good. Even with the fat little kid that I was, but
they don't eat or nothing. They just keep walking up that mountain,
That's
brother.
incredible, man. They just strap you on the back.
I do enjoy Mexico. Every time I go, because we go to Mazatlan 9 out of 10 times we go to Mexico, right? And I do not know what it is. I don't know if they don't have a lot of immigration officers, but every time we land, it is the same mean-looking bald dude, right? And I don't expect him to remember me. I understand that. The man sees thousands of people a day. But I always end up in his line every time. But the thing is, he opens my passport, does it, and he never smiles, never says, hola, nothing, man. He just stares at you, takes your passport, opens it up. And when he looks down, I know that he sees, not only have I been to Mazatlan multiple times, but you are the guy that stamped me in. And he still looks at it like it's suspicious, still stares me down again. I'm like, brother, this is 15 years of this.
Yeah.
This is 15 years of this, and it's always yours. I think one time I had someone else stamp the passport. Like, you keep letting me in. Why the staring?
All right.
Eventually, you're going to slip up.
I've ridden horses a couple times.
And when you do, he's going to be ready. He's been waiting.
He will. I knew it.
Yeah. In Jamaica, I took a horse up on top of a hill. That was an adventure all on its own.
How did your horse look?
Horse was not bad that time, right?
Because he ain't kidding about some of those Mexican horses. I'm not riding that thing.
That was Ocho Rios. But the gentleman with the machine gun in the trail who was telling me to turn around, he was not messing around. So basically, I just backtracked, put back down. Different trip there at a different beach. They were renting horses that you could run on the beach.
Okay,
like a movie, run through the water.
Do you have the ability to ride a horse like that?
I'm looking at these horses, and the guy's like, "Well, just get up on one, see what you think, whatever."
Like a test drive.
In this thing, man, there's a reason they're called horseflies.
Yeah.
Because they're attracted to horses. Okay? So as soon as I get up on this thing, I realize, God, those things suck. I am surrounded by 50 horseflies. And zang! I'm just like, oh my God, I jumped off that damn thing. I'm like, no way.
No thank you.
No way. I mean, they were everywhere. They're the size of birds. What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Wendy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right. So you have to paint the setting. It was 2003. And at the time my daughter was 6, my husband and I, we decided for the winter break to go to Vancouver, Canada.
All right.
And so none of us had ever taken a train. So we decided this will be a fun adventure. We'll take the train. And so it starts out pretty easy. We get on the train, yada, yada. We're about 30 minutes from the Canadian border. And the train pulls off at an empty meadow. And they're like, sorry for the delay, folks. There's a, freight train coming from Canada into the U.S., and we have to wait for them to x-ray all of the cars before they can let us through. So we sat there for about 2.5 hours waiting for this 200
200 car train to be scanned, sure.
Yeah, so then we finally get into Canada. So now we're 3 hours off schedule. So we get into Canada. The ride that we had, we had pre-done a ride or something, and it wasn't there. So we get into the customs, and we're going through it. Now, my husband is an avid pot smoker, and he's been a huge pot smoker his whole life. He made sure not to bring anything with him, but he was wearing a jacket that he regularly smokes pot in. It set off the sniffing dog. So as soon as we pull in, he's immediately flagged. And, my daughter is 6, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, well, they think Dad's got something funny, so we're just going to have to sit here and wait. So They basically take him off to a back room with all of his luggage. He's gone for an hour and a half. And he said that they made him strip absolutely buck naked. They checked every single thing. You know, of course, he had nothing with him. But so by this point now, we are 5 hours off schedule of when we were supposed to have, been checking into our room and everything, et cetera. So then going home, the train conductor shows up 6 hours late, and he's drunk.
What?
Drunk?
And so then they had to have him go home, and then they got a different train person to come, a different train conductor. And so we finally get heading out. As we're getting through Arlington, there had been a accident beforehand that they had hit a person who was crossing the tracks.
Oh.
And so our train had to sit there for 5.5 hours while they were waiting to still clean up the accident scenes. And so by the time we pulled into King Street Station in Seattle, there was no liquor left on the train. There was no food left on the train. Everybody is just disgruntled as all get out. We were supposed to get home at, I want to say it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We pulled into King Street Station at 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. the following day.
Oh, God.
I mean, when the train works, it's
and-
awesome. But when it doesn't work, it's not.
Exactly.
How many time did you actually spend in Vancouver?
We were there for 6 days, and it happened to be the year that the Canucks were in the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
And our hotel was across the street, and we didn't know it at the time, but we were constantly the party. The Canucks, the Canucks street parties are amazing.
You know why? Because they sell.
We could sit out on our balcony and just see them going crazy.
Well, they sell out the arenas, so the party takes place in the streets.
Yeah.
So if you look at all the footage from the Stanley Cup run and all that stuff back then, the whole arena is surrounded by people. Just losing their mind. They'll put screens up out there and everything else. It's kind of like Party Central right there.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. And we did this trip knowing that we weren't going to be driving anywhere. So we did this whole trip off of anything we could walk, take the public transportation or that SkyTrain that they have. And yeah, it was an amazing vacation. It was just getting there and getting home. And none of us have ever traveled by train again.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what else is cool. You start walking in Stanley Park.
Stanley Park. That's the name of it.
It's so big. It's bigger than Central Park in New York.
Right.
So you don't realize you are downtown. You
But
are
you wouldn't
walking.
know it.
I mean, it's surreal just based on the fact that you're in the woods. There is a rainforest in the middle of that thing. There are trails. People, you can rent bikes. It's spectacular, but you can't believe
that you're downtown.
That you're in this major metropolitan area when you are in the middle of the goddamn woods. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. My wife and I, we go up there in March. Every time we have tried to go up there, something has come up to prevent us from going. But my kid's playing volleyball. He has a tournament up in Vancouver. And I go, all right, finally, this is our excuse to go to effing Vancouver because everyone says great things about it.
What is one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Yeah, I was finally going to go, and then the pandemic hit.
How many different places? You know, Ireland?
Well, basically, we were just going to go to Canada just because I hadn't been yet.
Yeah.
But the trip I had planned was Ireland over to Portugal.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. And then the opening day at Dodger Stadium.
Correct.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Diamond Club passes. I was going to meet Magic Johnson.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah, I keep thinking just Ireland. And then when you go through the whole thing, I'm like, that's brutal. That sucks.
Yeah.
Hello, Emily. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Hey, guys. So, back in, 2003, I went on a cruise with my mom down to the Caribbean, and we were coming back. It was a day at sea, so, no land around for quite some time. And sitting by the pool, drinking, of course, and up the staircase flies this little fat bird, and, little sparrow, and smacked me square in the face, kind of wobbled in the air, and then, proceeded to just flutter off into oblivion. And I was like, did anybody else see that? People around were like, yeah. Thought it might have been the margarita I was drinking, because I think it was my third one. But no, I got hit in the face at the middle of the sea, by a little fat sparrow. And that sticks in my head. I'm like, that's awesome.
Was this sparrow noticeably fat? Because you keep dropping that in there. Like, if I looked at the sparrow, would I think, like, that's a fat
thing
sparrow?
Was round. He was round with a beak and little tiny legs. That was it. Apparently they nest on the boat.
Yes.
Like when they get into port, they'll nest, and then they kind of come out, like party drinkers will come out at night or when there's a day at sea. And
hit people in the face.
They just gorge on stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're worried about bringing in fruit and all these different things.
But there's a bird that from wherever.
Yeah, wherever you picked it up along the way, and it's going to make a new home.
And it's just there.
Wherever you're
just doing its thing.
I'll tell you what, man, when we went on that cruise a couple of years ago, it's a European cruise, right? So slightly different rules, but, decent time, whatever. Everybody smokes. Nobody smokes Marlboro Reds. And a lot of people, all the smokers, you get to know each other. There's a smoking section, right? And there's this couple from the Czech Republic. And I'd been talking to him for a few nights in a row. And finally the guy was just like, hey, man, can I try Marlboro Red? I'm like, sure. Because it's like, you hear about it in the U.S., like Jack Daniels, Marlboro. And so I'm like, yeah, man, have one. And he takes this drag, and he gets this big smile on his face, and then butts the thing out. He's like, no more.
Oh, just took one drag.
Yeah, and it took. So they were smoking these things that look like Virginia Slims. I couldn't tell you what it is, just something from the Czech Republic, but definitely kind of a candy-ass cigarette. So, yeah, he took a big-ass drag off of it, like he would his cigarette, I think was the difference, man, and it hit him. But one thing about Europeans, so we only had one day that you're not on land, right? And it was the last day taking you back to Barcelona or whatever. So you're at the pool all day. Europeans do not have a body image problem.
Oh, no.
Maybe they should, but they don't. And
just Speedos.
Oh, my God, dude. And it did not matter the size. There was one guy in particular, like, he's just burned into my brain. Big, bald dude. The crazy thing about it was he's not European. He was from Miami. But he's one of those dudes that's like, hey, man, when in Rome. So he rolled
why
up
not?
in these white Speedos. But when he unfolds his towel and lays it over this lounge chair, he's facing us, but his belly covered the front. So it looked like he was naked. Like, we knew he wasn't naked, but we're just like, I mean, huge boobs, man. Hair. I was just like, this guy is rich. He's super rich.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Super, super rich, yeah. Hello, Donnie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola, guys. How you doing today?
Hola. Doing great, man.
All right, I'll just paint the picture real quick like everybody else has. If you guys have ever been over to Idaho, you know the panhandle of Idaho is a beautiful place to be, good to travel through. Well, when I was young, back in the early 80s, mid-80s, I used to live over in Montana, in Bozeman, Montana. And I had a friend that worked for the railroad that lived in Osborne, Idaho, and he told me one weekend he had to go back home. So he said, you want to go with me? I said, sure. So we went back to over to Wallace, Idaho. And, of course, we had the car was full of, 10 guys in a little Honda Civic, you can imagine, from that era. And we had nothing but alcohol and beer, and we're driving over during winter. And when we got there, they took me down to Wallace, Idaho. And before I-90 was fixed and up above Wallace, it used to run through the town, and you'd see like hundreds of semis in line there. So he said, we're going to go down to Wallace, Idaho. Stick with me, do what I do. So he took me down into what Wallace has a brothel district. Like it used to have a brothel district. So we went up to these doors in these 2-level old brick buildings, and, there'd be like 10 guys, 12 guys, standing outside the door. They'd knock on the door, and a little metal slat would open up, and then, a lady, the madame of the house, she would say, how many's out there? So in our group, we had like 15 people. Okay, come on up. You walk up the stairs, you go into a nice little sitting room, and it's like old antique furniture and stuff. And a lady that barely had anything on, of course, it's a brothel, she would come out with a plate full of shot glasses, however many guys were there. She walked around giving everybody a shot. You'd get a little shot, relax, and then they would bring out about 20 women that, didn't barely have anything on, and you just got to pick and choose, like whatever type of fruit you wanted, however juicy you wanted it, it was right there. My friends hooked me up because I was like 15 and a half, 16 at the time. Yeah. So, and it was just really super cool. And then
if you're 15, you're in a brothel, I bet it is.
Yeah. And she took me to the back room, and what they did is the room was really cool looking, small little room. They'd light a cigarette, put it in the ashtray, and she said, hey, you have until this cigarette burns out. And then they
get you undressed. They take a little basin of water. They wash you all up, get you all cleaned up, and then you do what you do with them, whatever you pay for. And then when you're done, you'd come out, and you could have another shot. This time you had to pay for it. Or you could get another woman, or leave, right? And they still have those brothels up as a museum. And what happened was the whole town, the law enforcement agencies, everybody knew they were there. They donated so much money to the police department, the school district, to the area. Nobody dared shut them down. It was a mining town, and it reduced people from fighting and stuff like that. So it really did serve a purpose. And then I think it was like 1983, somewhere in there, they got word that the feds were coming in to raid, so they up and left like in a hurry, and they left all the brothels the way they were. I mean, like the ladies were just grabbing stuff and running out the door. So that's my story from Bozeman to Wallace, Idaho.
Wow. All right, I got to ask, were you at the Oasis room?
The Oasis room, that sounds really familiar, like one of them. It's been a number of years since then. I'm 57 now, so it's been a long time, but we hit two of them that night, and I was able to enjoy the company of a couple of the ladies there.
It says this one was the last one operating until 91.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Oasis room. All right.
Well, I just was like, that sounds crazy. Then he's right. Like, they have a museum there and everything else, and,
Go learn the history of prostitution.
It's kind of cool, man.
Or read the Bible.
I mean, that's the whole joke about the billiards, right? What's it? Oh, man. The Western movie where, like, they're going out there to fight. They're going to go hunt somebody down. Morgan Freeman's in it. Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's always the joke, because the main hotel also has billiards. But, like, they're like, well, there hasn't been a billiards table here in a decade.
Right.
So, like, I was going to say, like, sometimes I'll go get a drink if I'm up in Stanwood at that old hotel, which clearly had whorehouses above it, too. So I was like, billiards? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
But that's what it was. But I don't know. I love the idea of that, walking in somewhere and being like, here to play pool.
I brought my own cue.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? 206-803-ROCK.
Well, I mean, when you put a little chalk on your cue stick, it's kind of like putting a condom on.
Yeah, it's just like that. Exactly.
More people are texting in. Went to Wallace, Idaho to go to a brothel when I was 21, 1988.
See?
Yeah.
Was that the closest one, I guess? I mean, considering that Portland does not do that, I'm sure they have something going on.
I think if you've got a town that just turns a blind eye to it, you're safer as a client.
Yeah.
And that's a town in the middle of nowhere.
Right. They're like, look, dude, we know what goes on. We turn a blind eye, go have fun. We know why you're here.
But if you're also in an old historical saloon in a town that's got, a lot of history to it, more than likely upstairs there were rooms.
Absolutely.
And most of the time in those places, that was an opportunity for you. Because I've been to, there are about 2 or 3 of those bars that one in New Orleans, which was absolutely a brothel back in the day, which is in the French Quarter.
Which one?
Cannot remember the name of
remember
that
the
place.
song, The Land of the Rising Sun?
Right.
And that song is literally about a brothel in New Orleans.
In New Orleans,
Right.
yeah.
And none of that stuff's ever. I mean, as far as the interior or the exterior, all that stuff is as it was.
Yes, indeed.
San Diego's got a couple of those places,
Oh, yeah?
too. Where you're walking in the gas lamp district, which is hundreds of years old, considering the West Coast. And so what was the one guy?
And then the military installation.
Right. You bring the Navy there, it's like, okay, this is...
So, I mean, you're right. I'm sure Portland, there is brothels. You just don't know about them. There's strip clubs,
right,
which are different. But, like, nowadays, I feel like any major city, if you do some research, you'll find hookers.
If you want to find hookers, go to the concierge of your hotel. I mean, when we went to Miami, man, the concierge, if there's anything I can get for you, please let us know during your stay. So... my wife takes the bags up. I look at him, and he immediately points at me like, cocaine? I'm like, yeah, man. And so he arranges it, gave him the cash. And keep in mind, this is like a white glove hotel. So we were staying there one night just to say we stayed there. And the funny thing is, I can't even tell you what it's called now. But we had to split a room with another couple. Like, that's how expensive it was. We're like, F it. Let's just stay here one night. And, so the concierge, very prim, very proper. But when he noticed that I was letting everyone else go up, as soon as we made eye contact, already pointing at me, got it done, man.
Yes.
And it's almost like tableside service.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It's like, do you want it delivered to the room? I'm like, no, man, I'll just pick it up from you. It was like, oh, it won't be from me. It'll be from Benny over there. It's the man. There you go, Benny, yeah. I'm like, okay, so the guy just waited. He knows what's going on. He's like, yes, sir. Is there anything else I can get for you? Like, You got like a coupon to Pizza Hut? I mean, like, you asked for it, dude.
Well,
They
dude,
hook
look,
you up.
I mean, everybody knows out here 99, which is like streetwalkers.
Yeah.
But like, where I was a janitor at the AFL-CIO, that's 16th and I Street, right? So the next block up is literally the White House, but then the next couple blocks down are like, what was it, the Mayflower, like just the nicest hotels in D.C., which is where all the out-of-town guests, all the politicians people stay. And I mean, you want to talk about like attractive hookers. I mean, it was unbelievable.
They have call girls.
Correct. And I mean, there was this one street where the cops would chase them up to the other side, to the other, and it would just be limos. It was unbelievable.
What is the one story you'll always remember about your travels? We got your emails coming up next in the men's room at KISW.com.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all. Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/confluence. That's ATLASSIAN.com/CONFLUENCE.
So I used Gemini for the first time the other day, and the most impressive thing to me was just talking to it. You go live with it, and then it's just like you're having a conversation. You can just talk about your day or have it explain something to you or start brainstorming ideas. Let me give you an example. I pretended I have a job interview coming up and asked it to help me prep for the interview. It immediately started suggesting common questions I might get asked. Then I started talking through my answers out loud, and it would give me feedback. And it's all happening in real time, like I'm talking to a career coach or something. That's just what I tried first, but you can talk to it about anything. And I honestly think that's the magic of it, how you can just have this back and forth, and it's all seamless. If you haven't tried it yet, it's definitely worth checking out. You'll see what I mean.
Auto insurance rates are on the rise, which is why you should call Vern Fonk Insurance. Vern Fonk could save you up to 20% on your auto insurance. The pros at Vern Fonk will do all the work, comparing different plans to find you the best options. And they can insure you over the phone. One call to Vern Fonk could save you up to 20%. Call 206-408-5094. 206-408-5094.
Remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
Restrictions apply based on a Q3 2023 study of Vern Fonk Insurance customers who reported saving when they switched. License number 1070622.
I've been working with a Nourish dietitian for the last 6 months, and it's been life-changing. I've lost weight, healed my relationship with food, and have way more energy. Working with a dietitian online to create a personalized nutrition plan was so easy thanks to Nourish. The best part? I pay $0 out of pocket because Nourish accepts hundreds of insurance plans. 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Then fly with Condor Airlines. With non-stop flights to Frankfurt, Germany, there are great connection options to several European cities. Whether it's the romantic streets of Paris or the stunning beaches of Barcelona, Condor will start your vacation and make it even more memorable by offering comfortable and spacious cabins where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today.
Are you a bartender that dreads the phrase, "Hey, can you put the game on?" At Sports on What, we understand your pain and we're here to help. Over-the-air, satellite, cable, or streaming, Sports on What knows what channel the game is on, and you can too. Follow your favorite teams, set alerts, and filter by provider to get the results you need. Stop wasting time searching and never miss kickoff again. Just download the Sports on What app, and you'll always know how to watch the game. Available for Android and iOS. Start your 7-day free trial when you download Sports on What and subscribe today.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up, 10 rock albums that turned 50 years old this year at 4:30. But first, time for a few emails to the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And a couple from our question about travel. The ones you remember, gentlemen, the most memorable moment traveling was just this past May. After visiting family in Southern California, came back home on the train, the Coast Starlight, that runs from L.A. to here. And this time I decided to get a sleeper unit.
All right.
So we get on board, I settle in, get a power strip plugged in, we prepare for departure. Then I overhear over the two-way that the sleeping car attendant had a trespasser that was found on the tracks somewhere between Burbank and Van Nuys, yes. And we're going to be delayed a few hours. Of course, this only means one thing. They had to call the L.A. County coroner. Fortunately, the rest of the trip coming up wasn't so eventful. We got to Seattle only 3 hours late. Thankfully, my wife was not working that night. Weed and pizza.
Dude, I told you, I've been on that train once. It is so cool.
Where did you go from and to?
I just got it back from Portland. As I went down there like last minute years ago. My mom was in town. She was like, never seen Portland. So let's go. So on the way back that Sunday night, that was the only train we could get. So it's expensive, but I mean, we just got 2 seats.
Yeah.
But they have sleeper cars. And again, I had a steak and potato. I mean, It is awesome. There's a real like dining car. It's like they have the viewing cars where everything's open. I mean, I thought about just getting on and take a trip.
That sounds nice, man.
Now, there is issues with trains if something's on the track, but...
Like people.
Yeah.
All the Dinosaurs, May 2009, freshman year, studied abroad in China. I spent almost an entire month with my professor and classmates studying at the university in Beijing. One of the most memorable moments of that trip was going to this family-owned restaurant. At each table, there was a complimentary bottle of a local liquor called Firewater. Chinese moonshine, but a bit stronger. I was sitting at this one table with 8 or 9 of my classmates, and they're kind of just, messing around over who's going to take the shot of Firewater. Along with that bottle of Firewater, there were thumb-sized shot glasses. So I was getting annoyed with the whole back and forth between my classmates at the table. I grabbed the bottle, poured half a shot in the glass, slugged it down. Stuff burned, and a half hour later, I was seeing double. My friend thought it was funny, and he decided to be an ass. He raised 2 fingers up and kept asking me how many fingers he was holding up. I ended up spending the rest of the day in my dorm room, shaking off the effects. That from Lydia.
That's from a half shot.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
All the fellow dinosaurs, plus Mike and Ted. 1987, I was 18. Me and 3 friends decided to go to Reno from Klamath Falls. 2 of us were 18, 1 19, 1 21.
I mean, of course.
Klamath Falls
the guys
to
from
Reno.
Klamath Falls would rather go to Reno.
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. We all jammed into a little Ford Courier, which we lost the keys, so it was hot-wired, and you had to reach through the wing window to unlock it. Gambled and drank, never got carded. Things were great. Got a $32 room at Circus. 3 of us left. The other stayed back in the room with his ex, who lived there. In the process of getting into the truck, we were spotted by the police. Nevada, not a nice place when you have drugs. 21-year-old buddy immediately cuffed and stuffed. Cops talk for a bit, come back and say, "It's your lucky day. Raymond, get out of here." I said, "Brother," and ran straight back to the room. Me and the other guy finally made it back home. Whole different story. The other 2 had to have their parents use their homes for bail security to get them out. That from Raymond, the transplant from Klamath Falls.
Damn.
Guys, 20 years ago, I'm driving a few buddies back from Ozfest at the Gorge. And as you can imagine, we're all deliriously hungover, myself in particular. Car is dead silent, no music talking, almost eerily quiet. Suddenly, I feel something slither down my back. So I start flailing and shouting obscenities. I pull the car to the side of the road in a nosedive from standing on the brakes. I jump out of the car to discover the creature that went down my back. Now, I'll remind you, this is 20 years ago, 2002. Turned out my puka shell necklace had broken and fallen down my shirt. The amount of laughter that erupted from my car as I stood there dumbfounded, holding that dumb thing in my hand, was deafening. The car was literally shaking from my friends bouncing around in laughter. That from Irish.
That's pretty good.
Here's another. I went to Disneyland with a partner. We were at California Adventure having a lunch in an outdoor Italian restaurant in the park. So I noticed 3 tables across from me, the universal sign of I'm choking. So I get up and run over to the table. It's an amusement park. It's loud, rides, kids screaming. Not a single person, including my partner, noticed I get up. So I try to do the Heimlich on her, but she was very large and in a rascal scooter. I couldn't put my hands around her chest, so I slammed the table and screamed, "Can someone do the Heimlich?" Well, this guy looking like a PC principal from South Park walks over, saves her life. Everyone applauds. I just go and sit back down. Minutes later, the Disney, Secret Service show up and dissolve the situation. One officer shows up to me and tells me the victim said I was the one who saved her life. Told me I could do anything in Disney, just ask. My adrenaline was pumping so hard, I was in shock. Still, I just said, you know what? I want a big ice cream sundae.
That's what you went with.
So I got the biggest ice cream sundae. And as I'm looking at the invoice they gave me, I realized I could have had a one-on-one photo shoot with any character I wanted or cut to the front of line for the entire day.
No, you got a sundae.
Or a stay overnight on the property in a suite. But I got ice cream. That from Jesse in Mount Lake Terrace.
Jesse, I hope you were 8 years old when that happened.
Oh, he just panicked.
Ice cream
sundae.
On to the birthdays, guys. Today's my 37th trip around the sun, and I want to shout out. I don't know anyone else who listens, so I'm doing the damn thing for me. How about a big old bong rip? Some turtles having sex, and the dirty Germans telling me about their late 30s. Thanks for all you guys do, keeping me sane in the work truck out on the road every day. Much love. That from Justin in Puyallup.
Yeah, when I think back to my late 30s, I always have a little rhyme. My late 30s, the decade of dirties, and the decade of lots and lots of squirties.
Yeah, so speaking of that, don't forget that your late 30s, ammo still works.
Yeah.
What's the silencer on?
Guys, it's my girlfriend Erin's 42nd birthday. Want to wish her a happy one with a hippie fart and some dirty Germans wishing her a happy 42nd birthday. Thanks, guys. That from Justin. I think hippie meant hippo.
Yeah.
Yeah, for your birthday, I'm making you a very special meal. It's called Thrillwurst.
Yeah. So, if you have 2 Germans instead of 42nd, will make you feel 24 again.
Yeah.
Why is there so many of you? It's your birthday.
All right, guys, here you go.
Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. You know what's sneaky? A bunch of big corporations buying up local companies you know and love, gutting them, and keeping the name. But you know who's not a sellout? Pinky's Plumbing. That's right. Pinky's Plumbing's values start with their work ethic, honesty, how they treat their employees, and how they care for their customers. Bigger isn't always better, and that's a fact. You should know you're working with a locally owned company that truly values where they live and work. Pinky's Plumbing. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
It's 5:08. We'll drink a toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Somebody at Greek Reporter did a full piece on whether Homer's Odyssey was based on actual events.
And what they come up with?
I didn't work on it.
Okay.
I not my time to read.
What was
that
the other one? The Iliad? Was that
the Iliad? Yeah.
Iliad. Okay. Well, all right then.
Iliad.
A new study suggests that there's more to remembering dreams than just random chance.
I wish I could.
It basically
Like
breaks
what?
it down to, it's the same thing. Do you let your mind wander throughout the day? Are you more open to remembering your dreams? Do you care about your dreams? That sort of, there's psychological studies. It's not as random as people thought it was, but I think
I never had like that moment where I go, oh yeah, it's got to be like 30 seconds after I wake up. And if I can't remember, then I really do not know the weirdness that have just transpired.
Well, and there's folks that'll wake up and they'll use like dream diaries and whatnot.
Yeah, write down all that stuff.
That's never. When I wake up, I hit the ground running. Like, all right, time to get moving. Let's go.
What do I have to do today? That's it.
Exactly. I don't care about what my dream was. I'm fine.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
I'm fine.
Well, there's a sex dream one time, and I woke up before we could close the deal.
You remember those?
You do, and it's so irritating.
It does set your day off wrong.
It does, because like the moment that you've been waiting for in the dream, right? Because there's always something holding it up, but like this is about to happen, then your alarm goes off. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering, how does the human brain coordinate that?
It knows, dude.
How do you ever let me oversleep if you can predict that this dream's going to end when the alarm goes off at the moment we're about to do this thing that I really... That and one dream I remember, man, still pisses me off. I'm a big fan of chocolate milkshakes. All right? And in this dream, this guy, he's hooking me up with this incredible chocolate milkshake, the best milkshake you ever had. But I remember, I'm real excited to try the milkshake. He put the straw in it, handed it to me, and the alarm went off. And I was like, really?
Come on, man.
Really, man? Like, I can't even have, like, a dream chocolate shake, dude?
Well, you can, because it's Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Wow.
Well, it's too late.
It is.
Unless you haven't eaten today.
Can you do, like, an ice cream brunch?
I've never heard of that.
You know what I mean? If it's Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, could you extend it out?
I think if you go like to the Washington State Fair, you can eat ice cream anytime you want.
Yes,
like
you
there's
can.
certain times, Disneyland, ice cream, whatever you want.
Doesn't matter.
But other than that, I would judge you.
What's the morning ice cream? You gonna load up with like a Rocky Road, or are you gonna do like a cinnamon swirl? What's the morning breakfast?
That's strong. Cinnamon swirl,
So I'm
man.
figuring that you're doing your cinnamon toast crunch,
right?
Honestly, just grab a tub of vanilla and put some cinnamon toast crunch in it.
I think it's vanilla and apple pie.
Oh, good call, Miles.
I think you just don't think about eating ice cream for breakfast. There's so many sugary options at breakfast.
Exactly.
Between cereal and donuts.
There's probably less sugar in ice cream than there is in the cinnamon toast crunch.
Well, and I mean, ice cream has crossed over with other cereals. Like, how many collabs have we seen?
Right.
So
I will say, over the Christmas holidays, when visiting family, there's definitely a few mornings where we had coffee and cookies.
Nice. Damn right.
Nothing wrong
It's
with
the
that.
Christmas holiday. That's what you're
Yeah, like
doing.
my sister-in-law, she was like, do you want a cookie? I was like, it's like 9. She's like, yeah, well, I made a bunch of them. Like, what do you care? I was like, yeah, good point.
Good call.
Send one over.
Apparently, billionaires are bidding on dinosaur bones as the ultimate status symbol.
I guess.
Other than the T-Rex bones, do you care? Unless you have a doggone Triceratops skull inside your
there
house.
are people in Seattle have full, as full as they can be, fossilized skeletal dinosaurs in their homes, in their foyers.
I know Paul Allen did. That was like his oh, yeah. Apparently, he was like known for his love of dinosaur bones. Now, how does this work, right? So say, I don't know.
Well, the problem is that independent people have been buying them, and that keeps them out of museums.
Right.
So, in that world, the archaeological world, they frown on that because the idea is to be able to share that and educate the public.
Right. They want to preserve them.
But that's not what's happening.
But what if I dig up my yard,
They're going
right?
to private collectors.
And I find a Triceratops skull.
Right.
I feel like it's yours.
But I could be wrong.
Is it mine? Does the museum buy it from me? Does a private collector contact me?
I think the museum buys it from you.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, I think the government says, "Oh, that's now our ground."
That's what I'm wondering.
Because we
Like
found
if there's
something
more
expensive
bones.
in there.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, it's like, am I going to get paid for you to dig up my yard? Are you just commandeering my yard and digging it up?
I'm also the guy that I either want a skull or I want the full kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to look at...
I don't want a femur.
Right. I don't want to display something like, that's a T-Rex femur. Like, who cares? I don't see the teeth. I don't see the big doggone dinosaur. Mm-hmm. It's a big old leg bone.
Think about the Jurassic Park logo.
Yeah.
They put up a leg bone.
That's right.
Don't scare any damn body.
Mm-hmm. Barely got the little friggin' hands in there. There's a new AI algorithm inspired by galaxies merging in space that can find patterns in data without human guidance, which is new, and it's 97% accurate.
Damn.
Wait a minute, say that again?
So they've got this new algorithm for AI. It used to be that humans had to interfere with the AI to basically teach it what it needed to know.
All right.
This one doesn't need to know. It can just cross-reference all the information that we've got, and it can find patterns in data.
I wonder if they can do that on that asteroid.
In other words, it's terrifying.
Maybe. Yeah.
That is terrifying.
I mean, can't they do the same model with that asteroid? They're saying like every day is a different percentage chance of hitting Earth. Don't you think they
But
can
the
do
percentage
same
keeps
thing?
going up.
Right, but I mean, doing a model with AI to find out, like...
They probably did. I bet you they probably did the model themselves and said, oh, based on the trajectory, blah, 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 ran it through AI and said, oh, yeah, it's a little bit better than we thought, boys.
Mm-hmm. The Merriam-Webster word of the day, chutzpah.
He's got chutzpah.
He's got the chutzpah. Just a quick challenge. And,
Is that a Yiddish word?
I believe so,
Basically,
yes. Does anybody know how to spell the word chutzpah?
Oh, let's start with a CH.
It does indeed.
Damn.
So it's like...
Damn Yiddish. CH. Hold on, let me try this.
UDSPA.
Hold on. I'm going to guess CHUTZA.
Oh, you're very close. PAH. CHUTZPAH.
Nobody's getting
chutzpah.
Nobody's
Chutzpah.
He's got chutzpah.
He doesn't.
And every time I talk, I spit on people.
Sounds like a disease. Oh, man, he's got the chutzpah.
Oh, my God.
Get him a bowl of soup. He's got the chutzpah.
He's got the chutzpah. That one.
Researchers have found an abundance of animals in Florida city sewers.
You don't say.
Like what?
Animals.
All right.
Possums and raccoons
Well, I mean,
and
I
rats.
feel like any sewer system you go into, there's going to be animals down there.
I think Florida's probably more biologically diverse. Like,
Sure.
you're going to find rats and possums and all that kind of thing. But I
Wouldn't
get the
they find
feeling in Florida, they're like, that's a monkey.
Weren't they finding like gators in there all the doggone time?
They find gators plenty.
Right.
That's a great food source. It's water.
boas, pythons.
Yeah, man. Like, they're sewer systems
Water
is
moccasins.
different.
It's the full-on Amazon jungle down there.
It is. Florida's a weird place.
I mean,
right?
there's a lot of stuff going on in Florida.
There is, man. It's
Monkeys.
wild. And they're all coked out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new 20-minute procedure to treat a common form of high blood pressure without requiring invasive surgery and without leaving scars.
Okay.
So there you go. I'm not a doctor, so I didn't look into it. I have no idea what
You
it
just kind of
is.
go, cool. All right.
Yeah. Is everybody here a sibling? I know, Ted, that you have siblings. I know, Thrilly, that you have siblings. I do. Miles, you as well?
Yep.
All right. Anything that you guys fought about on a regular basis? Anything that you just stupid?
I mean,
stupid
front
little
seat.
things? Front seat isn't bad at all.
Brother and I only fought once, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended quickly when he pushed me into my mom's guitar and we realized we broke it. And in that moment, we're like, Dad's going to kill us both.
My brother's 7 years, and my daughter or sister is 9 years younger than me. So I was just a babysitter.
Oh, gotcha. That
Essentially,
makes
I was the guy who let them go out for dinner.
Front seat or, I don't know. Sometimes on Fridays, we're going to have for dinner.
I like
It's
it.
like my parents would be like, you guys can decide.
Oh, right.
Again, much more with my sisters. We're 2 years apart than my brother is. He's 7 years older.
Gotcha. Well, Ted, you're tracking with the normal.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 silly things that siblings fight about. I am the middle child with an older and younger brother. Both of these pillars of society think that the louder they talk to the point of yelling will convince the other of just how very right they are about whatever stupid, pointless, useless thing they're arguing over. Then they try their best to appeal to me to be the tiebreaker. I want none of this. Instead of raising my voice to join the cacophony of misguided rambling, I simply hang up on them. Leave me alone.
Yeah. So these are the little fights, the little things that siblings fight about. Number 10 on the list. Who has to clean the litter box? Or basically just pick up after the animal?
That, I'll tell you who does that. The parents.
That's fact.
You could say, I want a kitty, I want a kitty. You know you got to do this. You know you got to do this.
I will. They won't.
Yep, because they will wait to the point where the cat will not go in there anymore to use it.
Correct.
And that's when you have a problem because you're going to get sprayed and neutered, so to speak.
Well, and here's the thing. They do have intention to do it, and they're fine with doing it. It's just it happens a lot more frequently than they actually want it to happen, and they're a lot more willing to wait you out.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait for you to get mad at me.
That's right. Exactly. Who gets to feed the cat?
What?
Okay.
My kids do not fight for that.
No.
At all.
Feeding the dog was never like a big deal. You just put puppy chow in his bowl.
Right. And then they attack it with everything that they got, so that's kind of funny, but at the same time,
yeah, my kids aren't different. Too.
I'm not
feed the dog, feed the cat. Okay.
Exactly. Little things that siblings fight about. Who gets to sleep with the cat? Who gets the cat in their room at night?
Let the cat decide.
That's pretty much what it turns out to be.
The cat will make a decision.
I think this is why kids might not have the best relationship with their animals, because they want the cat to sleep in their bed, because that's awesome. You got this cute little animal that's sleeping next to you. They like indifference.
Right.
They like to show up to the person that does not give a damn about it to just lay there and just sleep through the night.
Yeah. And I've watched my friends' kids with a cat just pick it up. It's like, that's a real cat.
Exactly.
You want a cat to fall asleep? Open up a magazine. Open up a book. Open up your laptop. Put it on your lap.
It will climb on
and move it over.
Yep.
That is all you need.
There you go, buddy.
There it is. Why is it always right on the screen? Doggone it.
Your cat was big on that when you were home for COVID, right?
Yes.
Just kept standing there like, dude, come on.
She can't have me at home without any strangers in the house without being on my lap. She has to be in my business at all hours of the doggone day. I will get up and I will go into my room and chill out on my computer, and she'll just need to jump up and walk all over the doggone place, stepping all over and scratching me all over because she has terrible footing. And then I'll get up and I'll go to the living room, and she's got to follow me out there with her freaking primordial pouch swapping all over the place. I love her to death, but doggone it, she
got a big belly.
She's suffocating me, man. Like it's having.
This is the new one or the old one?
This is the oldest one that I've got, and she's like having the clingiest girlfriend that you've ever known. Like, bro, give me space. Shoot. Silly things that siblings fight about. Who left the wet towel on the floor of the bathroom?
I already know in my family.
Yeah, that was my sister's problem. I don't like a wet towel. I hated grabbing onto the towel and feeling any kind of a moisture whatsoever, so I got really good really quickly at hanging up my towel when I was done with it, because I wanted it to be dry.
Kids have such a hard time with that?
Kids have terrible bathroom etiquette.
I mean, we provided you with a rod that you place your towel on. I mean, and you just drop it on there. That is all you have to do.
Kids are going to take a dump, man, and realize the roll's empty on the toilet paper. And not even, Dad, you saw it before you sat down.
Right. I don't know what it was with my sisters, but they walked out of the shower, and they must have just not dried themselves one iota. They must have just stepped right out of the shower. Because every time I followed them into the bathroom, oh, my God, it was absolutely horrendously wet on the ground.
Yeah, there's a bath mat, but, like, I get it. It's going to get a little damp, but, yeah, sometimes you go in there and it's, like, soaking. And you're like, that's not even kids. Sometimes I've done it with adults, and I'm like, did you dry off at all before you got out of the shower?
It's not an extra towel. It's a little bit of a fail-safe, a good catch, if you will. Something to keep you from having to put your feet right down on the tile.
I mean, my daughter's gotten better at it now. It looks like a normal person took a shower, but you go in there after her, and I'm like, did you, like, shoot a water monster in the head with a shotgun? Like, why is there so much water on the floor?
Like, there's a place in multiple locations, but the one across the street from where I live, Lito's Pizza, when you walked in, you made a right, and there's a hallway, and the bathroom's right there, but that's also where the service counter is, where you go up and you order. Okay? So, first booth, looking out the window. Kid's like, Dad, I need to use the bathroom. I'm like, all right, we'll just go. It's right there. So, and she walks by a couple video games, goes to the bathroom. It's the first door on the left. She walks in there, and all of a sudden I hear her scream, like 5 minutes later, Dad! Dad, come wipe my butt! Restaurant's packed. How old is she? She's 4 or 5. The echo's coming up the hall.
Oh, no.
I can't walk into the woman's restaurant.
Right.
No!
Dad, come wipe my butt!
You're on your own, kid.
God damn it!
I mean, you like ask her, hey, lady, I know you don't know me.
I basically,
can you wipe my daughter's ass?
I asked our waitress if she could go in and make sure she was okay.
Is that how you framed it?
I told her to just do the best she could, tell her that, and then pull up her pants, and I will take her in the other bathroom.
Right, money.
Like, I'll meet you outside. We'll go into the men's bathroom.
Number 5 on the list of silly things that siblings fight about. Who has to load the dishwasher? When I was growing up, we were on a rotation. There was the three of us, so there were three main chores that we had to do. It was either vacuuming, it was taking the trash out, or you had to do the kitchen. And then Mike had to do all of them always.
When I was growing up, my father made it very clear. No one has to load the dishwasher because there shouldn't be any goddamn plates in the sink. If you're done with it, just put it. I mean, that was the thing, man. So
that was not our household.
Nothing ever collected in the sink.
That's why dishes in our house sucked the most, because we didn't have that steadfast rule. Now, we were told it's going to make things a lot easier on everybody if you load the dishwasher as you go. However, nobody gave a damn about that. And you could always tell who wasn't on kitchen duty because they did a lot of cooking in their spare. They did all the baking, they did all the cooking, and there was always a pile that was a mile high of doggone dishes that had to be done.
I always appreciated, think about my father. It's like, I'm never giving you an explanation why I want things done the way I want them done. You just need to do them for fear of death.
Right.
It worked. It's 100% correct.
Exactly. Another thing silly thing that siblings fight about, you hear this. Who's going to tell mom and dad? I'll tell you who's going to tell them. The one that didn't do it, that really wants to get you in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Because it's obvious somebody broke it.
Exactly.
So just right.
But in the case of Steve, when it's the both of you that did it, that is the only time that you two work in the best tandem that you ever have.
You absolutely do. I remember spilling the red Kool-Aid on the sofa that my parents said, do not drink Kool-Aid on the sofa. And then we did, and then just like they predicted, it spilled, and my brother and I probably stared at this thing for 20 minutes in a cold sweat. Like, what do we do? My brother, being the mad genius, we flipped
it over.
All right, now keep in mind, at this point, I have forgotten that this has happened. My brother has since gone off to college, and we're going to now move to Baltimore.
Okay.
So my dad, I was like, God damn it, Steve. So, 4 years had passed, man, and he was pulling the cushions off the sofa, and he's just pointing at this old-ass Kool-Aid stand. And I'm like, man.
That was years ago, man.
It was years ago, which apparently was the wrong thing to do. Like, what? I was like, that had happened 4 or 5 years ago.
You didn't notice for years.
We flipped the kitchen over, man. I mean, you didn't know. Yeah.
It is amazing they'll still get mad about something.
Well, the thing is, I don't remember which one of us spilled it, but in that moment, we both knew we'd both get in trouble. But, I'm the only one taking the heat for this.
That's right.
And Adrian's in college, and I'm getting the rundown from your tropical freaking Kool-Aid on that ugly-ass sofa.
Number 2, the first piece of cake. Who gets the first? Honestly, whoever's birthday it is.
But say it's not a birthday.
Uh-huh. And
your mother just got a hair up her ass, decided to make you a piece of cake or make you a cake when you got home from school. Yeah, in that moment, it seemed critically important who got the first piece.
Cretin's hand is closest to mom when she's serving up the cake.
I mean, a piece of pizza was always a huge fight, too.
Oh, yeah? Who gets that first slice?
Or the last piece.
Well, and there are...
That's where the
last piece, right? That's a legit thing.
That's also an honorable mention on the list as last.
That's why
piece.
kids eat like Joey Chestnut.
Right. Just
if you have siblings, I mean, it's a race.
Ah, yeah. Well, and there's also a preference on which piece it is. That's why you want to get the first one, because you want the one that's bigger, you want the one that's smaller, you want the one that's oblong shaped,
more toppings,
right?
Whatever.
Want the one with the big old bubble that's on it, whatever it is. You want that one that's specific. If it's cake, you want the one with the little flower on it, or the one with this writing on it, or you want this corner piece because it's got all the doggone icing on it.
Actually, the weirdest piece of cake I ever ate was, I think it was my father's birthday. It was something, but there was a bunch of family together, and it's one of the first photo cakes we'd seen.
Okay.
So there's my father's face on the cake. Well, when it comes time to cut the cake, it felt weird.
Yes.
Right? Because you just sliced it to your dad's face. But the piece I got was his eye. And I'm just like, man, I really don't want to eat this. It's so weird.
I can see you.
Yeah.
And then this is the number one silly thing that siblings fight about. Ted, you absolutely nailed it, man. Dibs on shotgun.
Oh, constantly.
And the problem is that when one actually has the wherewithal, as you're about to go to the car, to say shotgun, then myself, the jealous one, all of a sudden it's like, well, I call shotgun on the way back.
Always. That's always the follow-up.
And then it starts that argument. You can't call shotgun until it's time to go to the car.
Which is funny. I feel like as an adult, half the time, I'll just sit in the back.
Right.
I'm fine. But as a kid, it's very important to have that shotgun.
Super important.
Dude, that's the adult seat up there. That's the captain's chair.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Hell yeah, man. Exactly. Let's see here. A Michigan man is being charged with driving 700 miles to burn down someone's home.
Why would he do that?
I'll say all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
The time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink task and Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today's shot is brought to you by our friends at Black Raven Brewing, proud brewers of Men's Room IPA and the Men's Room 20th Anniversary Lager. And today we toast two unidentified young men from somewhere in Louisiana. We have a 19-year-old and an 18-year-old. They were caught attempting to smuggle $200,000 worth of contraband into a federal prison. Now, they had planned to smuggle $112,000 worth of tobacco and about $90,000 worth of meth, which I can only imagine is an S-ton of meth, onto the prison grounds. And it's unclear how they were caught, if they were caught in the act, or if officials caught wind of it ahead of time. But the reason I'm toasting them today is because what method do you think they were going to use to try to smuggle contraband into a prison? If you guessed, load it into a cannon and shoot it over the security wall, collect your prize.
All right.
And we're still not sure if it was like some antique cannon or something like a T-shirt cannon. They haven't given those details. But they do say the cannon, it had a range of about 350 feet. So it could have worked, but that's assuming that no one in or around the prison noticed a cannon firing at the property. So not very discreet. But anyway, yeah, busted with a cannon full of contraband. That was the plan.
I wonder if it was just like a potato gun.
Maybe. The only problem with that is think about how much tobacco and how much meth that would be just based on cost. How many times do you think you'd have to fire a potato gun to send $200,000 worth of contraband? I mean, it's got to be a better way.
One big shell.
One big shell. There you go. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy.
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
Let's get a contestant on the line now for Profile This. 206-803-ROCK. Profile This is next.
Wow. What's up? I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Independent financial advisors focus on building a relationship with you that goes beyond your portfolio. As fiduciaries, they must act in your best interest, not just some of the time, but always. That's why Charles Schwab is proud to support them. Visit findyourindependentadvisor.com.
I'm not exactly a tech genius, but I knew one thing for sure. If I wanted my small business to crush it, I needed a website that worked like a pro. And I needed it yesterday. Lucky for me, Bluehost made it ridiculously easy. With their AI design tools, building my website was a walk in the park. I could customize, optimize, and monetize everything exactly how I wanted. In just a few minutes, I had a secure site up and running. I couldn't believe how straightforward it was. And getting found online? Bluehost helped me with that too. I perfected my keywords and meta descriptions with their search engine tools. The AI even gave me suggestions to improve my pages. Now I can sit back, relax, and focus on my customers while my website continues to rank higher and higher on Google. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, I wasn't worried about taking the plunge. And now I am so glad I did. Head over to Bluehost.com and build something special today.
Is your team at work feeling a little disconnected? Maybe the workflow's not flowing? Try Confluence by Atlassian. Confluence is the connected workspace where teams can create, organize, and deliver work like never before. In Confluence, teams can whiteboard their vision for any project, easily create or access the relevant pages and resources they need, and discover important context they might not even know they need. Plus, AI helps teams jumpstart brainstorms, organize information, and connect workflows, so teams can move efficiently and create alignment with ease. In fact, with Confluence, teams can see 5.2% average boost in productivity in 1 year. So if your team lacks confidence, try Confluence, the connected workspace where teams can do it all.
Set knowledge free with Confluence. Learn more at Atlassian.com/Confluence. That's ATLASSIAN.com/CONFLUENCE.
If you have health insurance, you might be able to see a personal dietitian for $0 out of pocket. Nourish connects you with a dietitian that fits your needs, covered by your insurance. Nourish accepts hundreds of insurance plans, and 94% of patients pay $0 out of pocket. Meet with your dietitian online and message them anytime through the Nourish app. With hundreds of 5-star reviews from real patients, you know you're in good hands. Find your dietitian at usenourish.com. That's usenourish.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ready to explore Europe the striped way? Fly Condor Airlines non-stop to Frankfurt and connect effortlessly to most European destinations. Relax and start your vacation in comfort. Fly the striped way. Visit condor.com today and book your next adventure.
Hey, what's the easiest way to find out what channel the game's on? Sports on What? Subscribe to the Sports on What app and quickly find the channel for every provider. Satellite, cable, or streaming. Sports on What knows the channel the game is on, and you can too. Download today.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please start everyone on Profile This is played?
Sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jordan. Welcome to the Men's Room. Hola! All right, Jordan, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, sir. 11th year listening to you guys.
Oh, thank you, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, today you have your choice of one of 3 subjects. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Hit Me With Your Best Shot, where you guess the unconventional object someone chose to use as a weapon. And finally, Animalize This, where you guess the animal responsible for causing the problem.
You say hit me.
Hit me. We go to Florida, because that's where the majority of stupid happens. A guy in Wildwood was arrested after assaulting his roommates with a weapon of opportunity. 29-year-old Oquavius Chandler, yes, Oquavius, threw something at his roommate during an argument about video games. Now, the victim told police that he was trying to sleep, and he took his PS5 back from Oquavius' bedroom because Oquavius was too loud while playing it. That's when Oquavius threw something at him, hitting him in the chest. Now, it did not injure him, but he called the police, and Oquavius was arrested and charged with a felony because this is not his first video game-related felony. Seriously, he has 2 other attacks involving video games. In 2022, he threatened a man with a knife over a video game, and then a year later, he pled no contest after choking out his own sister during a fight. You guessed it, that involved video games. So brothers got issues. Anyway, the weapon of choice. What weapon of choice did Oquavius use on his roommate? Was it the PS5 console? Was it the game controller? Was it a bologna sandwich? Or was it a bottle of soda? So the PS5 console, the game controller, a bologna sandwich, or a bottle of soda?
I'm going to say a bottle of soda.
A bottle? Cherry.
Yeah, it seems like you're up gaming all night. And I don't know why this is. It doesn't seem like those people generally drink alcohol, but it's just soda.
Right.
Probably because of the caffeine and whatnot.
That's exactly it.
But I'm with them. I'm going bottle of soda.
Bottle of soda.
I'm going Oscar Mayer. I'm going bologna sandwich all the way.
What did this guy throw at his roommate? A PS5 console, the game controller, a bologna sandwich, or a soda bottle? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to The Men's Room.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Slow drain being a pain? Call Pinky. That pipe's being a little leaky? Call Pinky. When the toilet won't flush and you're in a rush? Call Pinky. When your shower lost all its spray power, call Pinky. When your sink's on the blink, call Pinky. Pinky's Plumbing promises to lick all your plumbing problems quick. So when your plumbing backs up and things get stinky, call Pinky's. Pinky'sPlumbing.com.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Head to Florida on our category Hit Me With Your Best Shot on Profile. Let's get a Florida man assaulted his roommate after a fight over video games. Apparently, this has happened a few times before in his lifetime.
This would be the third time that he has at least been arrested for a video game-involved assault.
Guess has something to do with noise. So, he threw something at his roommate. Did he throw the PC5 console, the game controller, a bologna sandwich, or a soda bottle?
And Jordan, that is the very question that I posed to you and these two distinguished gentlemen to my left, or your right on your radio dials, I like to say. And you and D. Ted Smith agreed on a bottle of soda. Makes
Mountain
sense.
Dew.
You're playing, yeah, Mountain Dew, Monster Energy drink, whatever. But oh no, I'm afraid it was not a bottle, but a fine choice. Miles, you went Oscar Mayer and went with the old bologna sandwich.
Bologna. Okay, it was a bologna sandwich.
Yeah, hit him in the chest with a bologna sandwich.
And you called the cops for that?
Look, man, I get the feeling, based on this guy's, Aquavius, I believe his name was, when you go through this guy's history, like, go ahead and call the cops. Because keep in mind, to the point that assaulting someone with the bologna sandwich is a felony, you got to check your past. Think about that.
Yeah, and the roommate's probably just tired of this dude.
That's what I mean. I don't think this is a one-off.
Now for all TV news all the time, it is time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, you got some choices today, all right? We got the Jimmys,
Fallon and Kimmel.
We got Seth Meyers, Colbert. Then we also have Bill Maher, Weekend Update, or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
That's right, though. The title, these guys have teams of talents, writers, help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Instead of buying a scratch-off ticket, just say to the clerk, "Excuse me, will you throw this dollar away for me?" And before you say it's my lucky day, you're in a 7-Eleven, shoeless, buying a microwave burrito with pocket chains. Yes, but it all means, let's not break your lucky streak.
I'm going to guess Bill Maher.
Yeah.
It is Bill Maher.
Instead of buying a scratch-off ticket, just say to the clerk, "Excuse me, will you throw this dollar away for me?" And before you say, "But wait a minute, what if it's my lucky day?" You're in a 7-Eleven, shoeless, buying a microwave burrito with pocket change. Yes, by all means, let's not break your lucky streak.
Health experts are facing increased pressure this winter in the face of an outbreak of COVID, the flu, RSV, and norovirus, which they are calling a quademic. So we did the smart thing and packed every beloved entertainer over 60 in one tiny space.
SNL.
SNL.
Yeah.
Health experts are facing increased pressure this winter in the face of outbreaks of COVID, the flu, RSV, and norovirus, which they're calling a quademic. So we did the smart thing and packed every beloved entertainer over 60 in a one tiny space.
Some sports news. The Daytona 500 was this weekend, and President Trump was there and even did a lap in his limo. Sadly for the president, his car did not qualify for the race.
Ted Smith.
Kendrick Lamar has to get over Drake. 6 diss tracks and a halftime performance. That's not a beef. That's a remake of Single White Female.
I don't think it's weakened up there.
Myers.
Bill Maher.
Kendrick Lamar has to get over Drake. 6 diss tracks and a halftime performance? That's not a beef. That's a remake of Single White Female.
SNL's first major cast change was in the second season when Chevy Chase left the show and was replaced with Kenan Thompson.
SNL's first major cast change was in season 2 when Chevy Chase left the show and was replaced by Kenan Thompson.
Miles, you kind of hit on it earlier. Did anybody in here watch SNL 50th on Sunday?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, that was pretty darn good.
Actually, I did a Ted Smith and I watched it on Monday.
Oh, yeah, nice. Mm-hmm. It's the way to do it. I don't know why. Like, we had Monday off. I could have gone out Sunday, but I was being lazy. So I was like, all right, I'll watch this.
Yeah, we did the same thing.
There was anybody you could think of seemed like was there.
Yeah, comedic star power was definitely in play.
Yeah. I didn't put this clip in, but it was kind of funny when the show opens. There's Sabrina Carpenter and Paul
Simon.
And Paul Simon. And it's just funny hearing Paul Simon introduce her, who's obviously a massive star right now. And then Paul Simon, and he's talking about when he performed this song, and she was like,
I first performed this song with whoever it was in 1976.
I wasn't alive, and either were my parents, is what she
Her
said.
timing was great on that. I mean, she nailed it.
And she nailed the song, too. They did a great version. I mean, he's got so much range, but she stayed with him in that range, and they sounded good together.
No, it was pretty good. Mike, I can't remember which one I put in there.
Oh.
What did I label them?
So you got the monologue in there.
All right, so let's start with the monologue, too, which was pretty good. Steve Martin was out there. Then John Mulaney joined him.
It was only a few days ago that Lauren told me I was doing the monologue, and I was actually vacationing on a friend's boat down in the Gulf of Steve Martin, and I finally... A fun fact, a person born during the first season of Saturday Night Live could today be easily dead of natural causes.
Over the course of 50 years, 894 people have hosted Saturday Night Live, and it amazes me that only 2 of them have committed murder.
Obviously, people put some stuff together.
Yeah.
I would think he was referencing O.J. Simpson and Robert Blake.
Yeah.
So, pretty good there. They did one of my favorite skits. I was also kind of shocked. I did not realize that was going to be like a new show. I thought they were just going to play old school skits.
That's what I thought.
Right. So it was kind of cool that they actually did some live skits. And I mean, they had every member you could have, cast member you could imagine. So it was pretty cool. Black Jeopardy is always a very fun one. I would also remind people Black Jeopardy is kind of tongue in cheek about black culture sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
If people haven't figured it out yet, don't waste your time trying to tell. I mean, either you get it or you're stupid.
But Tracy Morgan was on there acting as somebody else, and then Eddie Murphy showed up next to him acting as Tracy Morgan.
And look at this, Tracy Morgan. Big dog gonna make some big money. Now wait a minute, Tracy, don't you already have a lot of money?
Well, you gotta have a lot of money if you're gonna live like I live. I eat 4 cheese lasagna. If I only got 3 cheeses, I ain't eating it.
Yes, okay. We hear you, Tracy Morgan.
I refuse to ingest 3 cheeses.
Darius and Tracy, y'all seem like y'all might be related.
Well, James L. Jones is my biological father. James L. Jones impregnated my mother on the set of Claudine.
It's just better because at some point Tracy Morgan must understand how insane he sounds sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And like Eddie Murphy's impression was spot on.
Oh, he crushed.
I mean, I was sitting on my couch by myself just dying laughing like 3 cheese.
No.
Right? I don't know why I was dying laughing. I was like, yeah, and it's like also everybody has 4 cheese lasagna or 4. I mean, it's kind of the standard. But whoever wrote that one, I was like, that's pretty damn good. He was smart enough, right? And like Tracy Morgan, he's the butt of the joke, but he just has to sit there and take it.
Oh, he just roll with it.
Like of all the characters you could come back and do, like Eddie Murphy could come back and do Buckwheat or Gumby or Mr. Robinson or any of these things. He's like, no, if I'm coming back, man, I'm going to impersonate Tracy Morgan. Okay, man, whatever.
And obviously, Weekend Update they did was great because you have those hosts, and then Seth Meyers came back.
Yep.
What's it? The woman at the party you don't want to talk to.
Drunk uncle.
Right, drunk uncle was out there. I mean, you forget how good some of those skits are.
Oh,
especially with stuff that's going on today. I kind of wish those two would show back up more often. Yeah, she was pregnant, so she wasn't even drunk. You still don't want to talk to her at the party. But they did a super good job, and also kind of cool to see Jack Nicholson out and about.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
He seemed like he looked fine. I don't know if he's been sick over the years. He just doesn't show up
very
as much.
Public, yeah.
Yeah, what do they call it? A recluse.
Yes.
But I mean, he was a mainstay forever at Lakers games, right there in the front row and everything else. So you would see him all the time. All right, now some exciting stuff that happened over the weekend.
Oh man.
So last week, Mike and I were kind of talking about this hockey tournament, right?
Yeah.
So I did watch two. I will say the NBA All-Star Game. The format seemed okay. Have the guys have these quick little games, but the amount of the break time in between was so long. It was very hard to watch it. And then on top of that, the night before, you had maybe the greatest All-Star thing I've ever seen. So remember, the NHL this year said, hey, instead of doing an All-Star game, we'll have 4 nations playing a tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people said, what about Russia? They'll figure out a way to do Team Europe or something.
Of course.
But the USA and Canada put the bulk of players in the league, and then Finland and Sweden also put a ton of players in the league. So they're going to have this round-robin tournament. It was setting up for Saturday night, Canada versus USA. And keep in mind, we haven't had the best on best play each other in 9 years.
Yeah.
Because the Olympics for a couple cycles said no hockey, right? There wasn't a World Series of hockey.
Right.
So like I said, you could watch these, other tournaments with a lot of younger dudes, but you hadn't seen the best on best in forever. So Mike and I, we're at a bar. We're sitting there, and we know one of the bartenders. She's like, I can put the sound on for you. We say, great. So now the game's getting close to starting. Sound's on. Not everybody in this bar is fired up about this game. As soon as that puck drops, boom, gloves are off. One of the Kachuk brothers gets in a fight.
Right, instantly.
I mean, people got to understand that hockey players plan this stuff out, right? Now, what most people don't realize is, my buddy Brett's there, and he's like, hey, remember, his brother's on that line, too. Drop the puck again. His brother gets in a fight, right? And remember, their dad was a stud that had won, in 94 or something, won a gold medal for the States, Keith Kachuk. So then there was another fight within 3 minutes, and Michael attests. Now everybody in this bar has worked at Ventura Fleury.
Oh, of course.
Right? Again, look, I have no real beef with Canada at all. I fathom what's going on, whatever, but it's sports. So F Canada. Yeah. But just awesome watch, a lot of electricity, and I think hockey dominated this weekend. Just kind of crapped on the NBA. I think you might even had some hockey fans. There's people out there that probably don't care. If you're not tuned in Thursday evening to watch the USA versus Canada, as it's round robin, this will be for the championship. It'll be in Boston. We might, I don't know. So I'm sure somebody's going to boo. It's Boston. They're going to boo the Canadian anthem.
They're going to boo themselves.
I know.
They hate each other.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone in Boston will fight.
Yeah, if you went to a different high school, you get into a fight in Boston if you're 80.
Right, and it's one of those things. Look, there's a lot of stuff you could have issues with within the country, right?
Yeah.
But it's still ours, right? I can make fun of Miles all the time. But if somebody else, if a listener at an event's making fun of him, I'll be like, hey, you don't know him. Right. You don't get to do that. So same thing with, we have issues in this country. But I won't lie to you. I was chanting USA. I stood up when the anthem came on. I said F Canada at least 10 times. It was just awesome, and hats off to the NHL. Great idea.
Hats off and gloves off.
Hats off, gloves off, and keep in mind.
Do you think they'll do the same thing knowing that it is the championship? So do they take the same approach as far as fighting, setting that tone? Do they do the same thing?
Well, and keep in mind, the next Olympic cycle, hockey's back. So this is also kind of setting the tone for next year. Here's the issue. The Canadians didn't really pick tough guys. And
they're picking skaters.
Look, their front line with McJesus, with McDavid, I mean, they have better, their top echelon Canadian players are better than any of ours. But the United States have a better goaltender, right? You have some better players at certain spots.
Okay.
And then, so I guess the Kachuk brothers just said on the ride over, they were like, hey, let's just drop the gloves and get it going. Me personally, I would be shocked if the Canadians don't just turn around and return the favor. As soon as that puck drops in Boston, I would have to imagine. And at this point, I'm pretty sure how hockey works, right? Miles, let's say you're the Canadian guy. Like, you might just skate over and go, hey, we're going as soon as it. And I think that's the agreement, too. Like, if somebody says, I want to fight you, and you both drop the gloves, then it's like, all right, we're committed to fighting.
Sure.
But none of those guys are particularly. But, like, if they had Tom Wilson on the team, I'd be a little more scared because he's an enforcer that's also a good player. But should be exciting. It's going to be the must-watch event in a long time. And, again, just
the only thing on all week.
Yeah, I mean, you got college hoops. Like, I watched some college hoops this weekend. I did watch the Daytona 500. Rain delayed, so I took a nap after the Maryland game and still got up and watched it. But, yeah, that game Saturday was just the highlight. And just awesome. I just can't say it enough. What a good idea. As then you flip over to that NBA game, and I love Kevin Hart. There's too much Kevin Hart. He was talking during the games and stuff. And I was like, all right. And then inside the NBA, we're giving him trophies and everything. Like, look, it's a great show, but, like, I don't know. And, like, I am a LeBron fan. I will stand by LeBron all the time. An hour before the game, I'm not playing.
Right.
I get it, but, like, man, you could have said that the day before or this morning. There's enough NBA guys in that arena. Somebody was worthy of that spot.
Yep.
So, yeah, they got dominated overall there. And just great job. Awesome watch, and go USA.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Philadelphia residents somehow get upset that a Chubby Chicks restaurant opened up. Meanwhile, we head to the highways of California where traffic stops for a wandering little sea lion pup. World's second most venomous snake takes a bath in a family washing machine. Man drives 700 miles to ex-girlfriends and then does something mean. And a Michigan daycare apologizes after knocking kids out with the melatonin. It's time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my car.
All right, on top story, we go to Pennsylvania, where ridiculous meets a whole new level. A man from Michigan is facing arson charges after he took a long, long road trip. You see, he drove 700 miles to a town in Pennsylvania and burned down a man's home. But why? The 6 residents of the home needed to be transported to the hospital for injuries and complications from the fire. The home was considered a total loss due to the intensity of the blaze, and sadly, the 2 dogs that were in the home at the time did not make it back out. But our man can rest easy in his jail cell knowing that he had a good reason for all this mess. You see, the man inside the home that he was targeting, he was talking to his ex-girlfriend.
His ex-girlfriend.
This guy is not with him anymore. This is merely her new man, and therefore his house must burn down and his dogs must die.
Why did she break up with him? I don't understand.
Can't imagine.
That's insanity.
No, Ted. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to do with a man who is as passionate as this.
Jesus.
Also, right, like, I don't get it. Right. Like, if you want her back, that's one thing. But, like, she's probably not going back with it. Second of all, it's like, well, the other guy didn't steal her. Like, she broke up with you.
Exactly. I don't know where the logic goes.
You can't really steal someone unless you kidnap.
Right. I understand that you
made a decision one way or another.
I feel like it's nature to have a little bit of animosity, especially if you were the one that got broken up with.
Sure.
Like, you still want her, she doesn't want you, and so you're going to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder against the next guy that she goes with, but... Bro, he didn't ask for you to be a part of her history.
And 700 miles.
Come on, man. Yeah, really?
Not once. Somewhere along that ride, you've been like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this.
Right. Some point. In other news, back to Michigan, where a local daycare facility has cleared the air. Parents who had their children in the facility found themselves with an uneasy feeling when surveillance footage was shared with them showing a worker spraying something on the nap mats. Melatonin.
Oh, damn.
After the footage was leaked, the employee was quickly dealt with by management, ordering her to clean off the mats and remove the liquid from the premises, instructing her to never use the spray on anything belonging to the children, especially without parental knowledge and consent. She cooperated, saying that she had no malicious intent, which I believe. She was simply trying to help them have a good nap with a natural product.
We just gave them weed gummies.
Pediatricians commented to the media that what she did was relatively harmless, but should exercise caution when combining the term natural with the term safe. The worker is still employed by the daycare. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about before.
You'd be surprised how much melatonin daycares are giving to the kids.
Yeah.
Look, it's happening all over the place. They had to tape my daughter's shoes to her feet.
Oh, yeah?
She was like 4. Yeah, I guess she kept taking them off and throwing them or whatever.
Right.
So they had electrical tape them to her feet. And I said, yeah, I don't care.
Well,
stop throwing your shoes.
And when it's nap time, it's different than when it's nap time at home. When when it's at home, maybe you've got your siblings that you guys might talk and laugh and do whatever it is you're doing. When you're at school or daycare, you're making friends there.
Yeah.
At some point, you are going to not sleep because you two are just chuckling to yourselves over in the corner. A little melatonin to knock you out a little bit. Like, I understand what she was doing. I'm not going to say that it was right because she did it without the parents knowing, but it wasn't what I'd call dangerous.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what they're not asking your permission for.
Yeah.
To get your kids to go to school.
But I think that's up to the parents to decide, but you just don't want the daycare person giving it out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It is bad optics all day. All day. Down under to Australia, where washing your clothes is also trying to kill you. Locals called authorities after they opened their washing machine to find a snake inside of the machine. A snake wrangler arrived on the scene and took video of the encounter, identifying the animal as none other than the eastern brown snake, which I know that you guys know what that is. But just in case you at home were wondering, it is the second most venomous snake in the planet.
Miles just released a brown snake a couple minutes ago.
Yes, he did. And just in case those stories with the bad taste in your mouth,
Thankfully, there's good news.
wild story with a happy ending on a California Highway Patrol officers got the report from a driver on the 101 about something troublesome on the highway, a juvenile sea lion. The young animal had somehow jumped up and out of the water near the San Francisco Bay Area and waddled its way onto the busy road. The driver that made the call managed to swerve and avoid the animal, but called out a fear that someone else might not be so quick. They were able to safely coax the animal back to the shoulder of the highway and eventually back into the water below to reunite with its family, unharmed and safe, having earned the name Lou Seal during the short time around people.
Yeah.
I love the names that people come up with, man.
My name's Dolores.
Dolores Seal. Men's Room Sports brought to you by the fine folks at Sports on What. Download the Sports on What app and it will tell you what channel and when all of these sports are going to be on, like all that college basketball that you got on tonight. Again, highly recommend that you download that Sports on What app. It gives you all that information. As far as your weather, things are cooling down to the mid-40s tonight with clouds and rainfall moving in, leading to a cloudy 51-degree day tomorrow with bouts of rain. Enjoy that. That's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Who Sucks Less. Lovely Jolene's up next.
Yes, indeed. It's all true, but in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please, do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Hiring is a lonely business. Posting jobs, sifting through resumes, interviews with unqualified applicants, being ghosted. What if you could link with dozens of qualified candidates who are ready to work right now with just one connection? That's Express Employment Professionals. Find us at expresspros.com. One connection, the workforce you need. Problem solved. Express Employment Professionals. expresspros.com.
Plug in a Hyundai EV and the extraordinary happens. From the charge time and range in the Ioniq 5 and 6 to the adventurous spirit of the Kona Electric to the 601 horsepower Ioniq 5N. Hyundai EVs make the extraordinary electrifying. There's joy in every journey.
EPA estimated 303-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 5 SE SEL limited rear-wheel drive and 361-mile driving range for 2024 Ioniq 6 SE long-range rear-wheel drive with fully charged battery. Actual range may vary. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
So I actually tried Gemini a couple days ago, the Gemini Live where you can talk to it, and it is really crazy to have a full-on conversation with this thing. I was just messing around, so I asked it to give me ideas for hosting during the holidays. And when it starts giving you results, you can just stop it and say, okay, but what about something low-key for a smaller group? And then it adjusts to that, and you can just keep going until you get an idea you want. I think that's what I would use it for the most, brainstorming stuff. It's so good if you don't know where to start or if you hit a wall, you just go to Gemini. It helps you get the ball rolling. But obviously, you can use it for all kinds of stuff. If you want to learn something new, you can have it give you advice, ask it to explain Bitcoin in simple terms, or you can have it quiz you on microbiology. I mean, imagine being a student and you've got this personal tutor on hand. It's hard to explain. You really just have to play around with it, see how it listens to you, responds, adapts to your style of conversation. Just try it out. It's free.
Auto insurance rates are on the rise, which is why you should call Vern Fonk Insurance. Vern Fonk could save you up to 20% on your auto insurance. The pros at Vern Fonk will do all the work, comparing different plans to find you the best options. And they can insure you over the phone. One call to Vern Fonk could save you up to 20%. Call 206-408-5094. 206-408-5094.
Remember to honk when you drive by Vern Fonk.
Restrictions apply based on a Q3 2023 study of Vern Fonk insurance customers who reported saving when they switched. License number 107062.